Happy Halloween! Alright. Oh, Alt-tabbed. There we go. Spooky indeed. What better way to start out a Halloween? Indoors playing video games. But I figured because it's a scarier time of the day, we'll probably start out with this. I see a restless thing in the mirror, one in the study, and in it I see her. I see them. Lorraine and Hannah. That's a tasteful image. Hannah and Lorraine.
Oh, pathetic Marianne. Work, work, work. She'll work herself to death.
Yipes.
See, she doesn't listen. That's all she did. Look at what happened to me.
Yipes. They talk amongst themselves with cruel smiles and venomous tongues. Or rather to themselves, two heads, one body. Oh, I just now realized that. Oh, that's gross. Horrible mockery of these women as they were one and the same.
More's the pity. Life goes on and goes out and she doesn't even see it. Do you think she'll even realize when she's kicked the bucket herself?
Yipes. When they say a person has a hard time telling when they're in a dream, it was true often enough. Even with the bizarre sight, even with the obvious implication that this isn't real, I can't help but feel distress.
Likely. Is that any way to live at all? She might as well be dead. Cruel fate that she's alive and I'm... well...
Yee. Though they speak into each other's ear, tones low and hushed, I can still hear them as clear as day. Their whispers pervade the air, heavy and oppressive. They bury and dig into my head like tiny maggots. Ugh, that's imagery I didn't need. Worming their way into my skull. Ugh, more imagery I didn't need. It's only then that they take notice of my presence. Eyes turn towards me, and I can only feel small under my scrutiny. I only feel small under their scrutiny. Okay. Caricature smiles on their faces, mimicking each other grotesquely.
Oh, Marianne! How long have you been standing there, dearie? Come join us, Marianne. We won't bite.
I don't trust you.
Unless you ask, that is.
Of course.
Have you been looking at us? Spying?
No.
How scandalous. Such a naughty gal.
That distortion is like really making me feel unsettled.
I'm sure you were just waiting for something lewd to happen, weren't you?
Oh, like two women talking about me with, nothing on.
You know she will not admit it. She thinks it wrong. You've said it so yourself. Yes. She thought me wrong, impure, abnormal, because I loved her.
I thought it was the other way around. Oh boy. My breath hitches and I open my mouth to protest, but they stop me screeching. The mirror that holds them cracks, lines spidering across the surface.
Do not lie! We know the gluttonous thoughts you try to deny, girl. All those desires you bury beneath that sickening guilt. You act the martyr when you turn the bed you lie in into your own hedonistic hell.
Oh, that is true. She did almost sleep with Luke.
You are nothing but a tainted soul with filth-stained flesh held together by falsehood and pride.
They look livid. And when it looks like they would lunge... Thank God that's over. Thank whoever you want that that's over. I awake, feeling like the wind has been knocked out of me. With a groan, I squint and find a certain fluff ball sitting on my chest, looking as pleased as a punch. Finally, the cat. She is the overlady of cats, queen of despair and destruction. queen of despair and destruction of nice furniture. Though I can't stay mad at Her Majesty because it feels like she did something good this time. I was having a nightmare, but I can't even remember what it was about. Geez, you're one of those types that can't remember their dreams? Too spooky.
Too spooky.
That reminds me of, what is that YouTuber? I can't remember his name. I remember one of the tracks he made. It was Too Spooky for You, and it's like a barbershop quartet. Oh no, the toast! I'm toast! I just saw my fucking webcam. I'm toast! Let's move my face back over here so I can see myself. Maybe it's probably better that I don't remember.
Good morning, Baruthio. Who's the good kitty? Are you hungry? Is that why you woke me up?
Maybe the cat knows that you were in a nightmare and just wanted to wake you up. A content purr comes to my sweet dear before she jumps off the bed and trots towards the kitchen. On the other hand, it makes me a bit... Wait, what? It takes me a bit more before I roll out of bed and start my day. Mornings before work are always a quiet affair. Shower first, then a mug of coffee and a bowl of oats. I like the midday shower. Because I feel like if you shower between like 10 and noon, it makes it so that as your hair evaporates the water off, it keeps you cool through a nice chunk of the day. Oh, I think I backlogged something. Sometimes I do stretches and always check my work email. The Wrights will be moving into the mansion today. What's the date? When did the Wrights move into the mansion? We still haven't addressed the murder yet. That was like literally, we went to the next day, and then that's when stuff started going bad. Hannah and Luke, Absinthe, the preacher. That was something that we haven't gotten to yet. The party, creepy kid. And we have nothing there. Okay. I don't think the paperwork is officially done yet, but it isn't too far-fetched to think that they were allowed to start their move despite that. Rich people like them will always find ways to get what they want, after all. I hate rich people.
I'll be leaving you again today, Beth. So you behave and make sure not to shred up my new covers, okay?
Or maybe I should say I hate the power that money gives rich people. That's probably more accurate to say. I'll be leaving again today, Beth. Oh,
and don't worry, I didn't forget tomorrow is Black Cat Day, so I'll throw you a party.
Black Cat Day.
But only if you behave like a proper lady.
Alexa, when is Black Cat Day?
National Black Cat Appreciation Day is on Tuesday, August 17th, 2021.
Huh. Take that, game. Alexa has spoken. She barely gives me a glance as I say that before going back to her own food. Cats. Still better than humans most of the time. That's debatable. Too bad I have to work with humans. I'd rather work with humans than cats. place is already busy as soon as I get here. Now we get to listen to Luke yell at all the movers and shakers. The foreman, the one that I recommended to the Wrights for his work ethic, is early as usual. Already he's instructing men here and there with the bigger loads. I have no chance to talk to him as Mrs. Wright appears and greets me with a smile.
Mrs. Wright, I hope everything has been to your liking thus far.
Good morning, Marianne. It has been delightful, and these men have been very helpful. Look at all this. It's so busy here. I'm getting tired just looking at them go.
No complications so far with the movers or the previous owners of the mansion, I hope?
If anything, the only one being problematic is Luke, if I'm to be honest. He can be such a diva, but I do like that about him.
He stops looking up at the upper landing where Mr. Wright... Oh, she stops looking at the upper landing where Mr. Wright comes through with 2 other movers in a mirror from the study.
Oh, do be careful with that mirror. We wouldn't want anyone getting hurt because of broken glass. Why are you even having it carried around?
Oh? You did say you didn't want the mirror, and I keep getting distracted by it. If I'm going to turn the study into my office, I'd rather not have it there.
Oh yeah, the creepy mirror. That's right. Where we saw, like, the ghost in it at one point.
Where can we put this?
Well, you are not putting it in our room. Why don't you go, I don't know, put it in the wine cellar for now? We can figure out to full store it in the attic or somewhere else later, yes?
Let's put the haunted mirror in the haunted cellar. Great. Great.
You heard her, boys. To the cellar it goes. Mush!
Ooh. The movers bring down the mirror one step at a time, no matter how much the man tells him to hurry. And I wish I had a printout of the blueprints. That'd be just nice to have. An unsettling feeling grows in my stomach as I see our reflection in the bloody thing. That's the mirror from my dream. Creepy. Mrs. Wright only shakes her head and laughs at her husband's antics as they take the mirror out of here. He's back at it again soon enough, pointing to the men here and there. I'd say he's the man with the plan, but he sort of interferes with the layout and the design that we agreed upon before. I'm about to point it out, but...
It's better you let him realize his mistakes on his own, rather than tell him of them. That way you do not get blamed for his actions. It is more fun, too, to tell him, how does they say it? I told you so, once he slips up.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
Been working with him long enough to know that, huh?
It's not like I plan to make too much of a fuss, unless what he changes is actually crucial.
It happens often enough, when one is made to accompany him nearly all hours of the day.
Up, higher. Come on now.
Still, he could at least be pushy about
Careful
things.
now. I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings. Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
It is surprising how hands-on he is compared to any of my usual clientele. Well, both of them are, actually. It's refreshing to have them participate, despite their initial reluctance.
Luke, do the dishwashers go into the kitchen or the butler's pantry?
Pantry, Buttercup. Careful, that's Emma Hut. No, you there, put that down. You do not manhandle a Napoleon Abueva.
Wait, I feel like we've seen this scene before. From Hannah's perspective, if I remember correctly. He really needs to tone down the dramatics a notch. Mrs. Wright and the butler look like they're used to it by now. But the rest of us, well...
Sweetie, why don't we go and sort your suits upstairs? Let your Hans and Marianne and the foreman deal with the rest of the work.
We have this, Mrs. Wright.
Yes, please do go before a blood vessel bursts. Bloodstains are so troublesome to clean.
That has so much more context now. Oops, alt-tabbed. There is an obvious sense of relief as Mr. Wright is dragged out of the room, leaving the movers to work in peace. Some grumbling even comes from some of the younger workers. It's a good thing the family butler isn't some blindly loyal tool to his boss, or there would be trouble with Mr. Wright.
He is such a bratwurst. Whiny baby who never got enough hugs from his mutter.
Multa.
Probably lost in translation, and not that I'm condoning talking about someone else behind their back, but I think you meant to call Mr. Wright a horrible brat.
Well, he is that too. There are a lot of things I can call him, but I mean to say that he is a big weenie.
Bratwurst, brat, meat weenie. Yeah, tomato, tomato. I could go for some sausage. Maybe some bacon. Bacon would be good.
A childish name for a childish person. Like a child, he whines when he doesn't get what he wants, and he breaks the toys that he has.
I'm starting to get flashbacks to the previous game we played with Belphomet now. That gets a laugh from me, as well as a few movers who linger near. He and I carry boxes, instructing the movers where they should, and generally taking over Mr. Wright's work. It goes off without a hitch. The man is helpful, efficient, and capable of physical labor, despite his clean-cut appearance. A gentleman to boot, taking boxes from me when he sees me struggling with them. Speaking of boxes...
Hey, one of the boxes for the kitchen is missing. Has anyone seen it? The one with the pots and the knives.
The bratwurst had it brought upstairs, thinking it was for the attic.
Ha.
Why would he...
Oh no, we're gonna go in the spooky attic now, aren't we?
Oh, never mind. I'll go get it.
No, send someone else. Oh, we're on the 26th. So now I have a time frame. This is where they have the talk about children. Zach's gonna show up with his camera. And it's gonna end... We'll probably be gone before... Oh, wait a minute. I just noticed that the help me letter is wedged in the journal. How did I miss that for this long? Why even bring a box of pots and knives to the attic? The man is ridiculous. There's probably no point in making sense of what he does. Or if he does them just because he can. At least it turns out that I don't have to make it all the way up to the attic. The mover, probably on Mr. Wright's orders, left the box on the stairs.
At least it's not that heavy.
Managed to hoist it up without much effort. But the time it takes for me to do that is long enough for me to overhear an odd conversation I could never in my life imagine coming from a couple like the Wrights. Oh, she's going to eavesdrop on the baby conversation because the door's open.
Why, if you're not careful, I might go a bit loopy and I'll start bringing cats home. And soon enough, one day you'll find yourself going home to a farm just filled with felines that follow you everywhere.
Oh, don't bluff. The things would shred up your precious furniture. Besides, you don't even like cats.
True, true. Dogs are infinitely superior, of course.
Ah, that's so sweet.
But what about the wet dog smell? The mess. I'm not cleaning up after a mutt, no matter how cute. If you think about it, a cat would be better.
For once, I'll have to agree with Whiskey on this one. I love that she still calls him Whiskey. I can live with Mrs. Wright being a dog person. But as amusing as this conversation might get, I really couldn't be caught eavesdropping or slacking on the job. At most, I should be looking at ways of possibly soundproofing certain rooms, perhaps bringing it up if they don't realize the lack of it. Let's be polite. No matter how bizarre their conversation might get, I really must go. I just realized we've almost capped out Luke. Oh, wow. No matter how bizarre their conversation might get, I really must go. Not to mention just standing here when I have one more reason to loiter feels wrong. Actually, this is probably doubly beneficial, because A, we're not eavesdropping, and B, we are now further away from the attic. Besides, the magic word here is privacy, and I respect that. Keep in mind, I won't have a guilty conscience filled to the brim with secrets of the rich and famous in my hands. I take to the stairs 2 steps at a time. That's a bad idea when carrying stuff. If I wasn't in danger of getting stabbed by my baggage, and if nobody else was in the foyer. But as Johannes takes the box from me, I only give him a small smile. There's no reason to gossip about the peculiar conversation of his employers. He probably heard much odder things from them, and he doesn't seem to be a cat or a dog person either. I like how we're still focusing on that. As soon as I follow him to the kitchen, he raises a hand to stop me.
9. I know you are a very skilled architect, and I have seen your work. But this shall be my kitchen, and I shall fix it according to my wishes. Yeah?
I can respect that.
Kind of weird. Anyone would think that pots and knives are supposed to go anywhere but the kitchen, huh?
I assume he's gotten them confused. It wouldn't be the first time.
Confused? How does that even work?
Maybe he thought the box contained something else?
I understand covers, carpets, or even curtains getting mixed up. Hey, I'd even understand pots being mixed up with silver decor. But knives?
Oh, he has a collection of ornamental ones from his father. It takes them everywhere he goes, wherever he moves.
He has a knife collection. You know, I keep saying this, and I keep regret saying this, but I think I'm starting to like Luke.
I guess that makes sense. A bit. Still odd.
He merely shrugs before going back to work. The movers work efficiently, even when they're left alone, and do quick work of their responsibilities. The head foreman comes standing in the doorway to consult me on this or that, and I have to help out every now and then. But they pretty much have everything upstairs to standards. Sorry, everything up to standards. They skip lunch entirely, not even realizing when they do so. Wow, that's efficient. Nevertheless, all is well, and the butler gets heating up the leftover bubble and squeak from breakfast and makes a generous batch of fish and chips for them. How nice of him. Most likely simple in comparison to what he serves the Wrights, but well done nonetheless.
That smells good. Want to wrap up some for me to go?
It's an idle observation more than anything. My thoughts, as they are, preoccupy
If
me.
there are any left. One can't go wrong with fish and chips. Everyone loves them. Even my husband. And he's American.
Oh, your husband is American. We're learning so much about Johannes. Hands down, still my favorite character in this right now. Maybe Isabella is still number one, but Johannes, you're warming up to me, even if you did kill one of the characters in one of our timelines. Scratch that. I mean, I like Zach as much as the next guy. Okay, I guess that still does hold him back, because Zach is too nice of a guy for you to get that much credit. Okay. Where was I? I really do hate getting up close and personal with my clients. It's a distraction. It's obvious to me that I've gotten my priorities all wrong, when I can't help but think about what I've heard, what I've learned about the right couple. These things have a way of creeping up on a person. Thoughts, ideas, whether they're fact or fiction. They creep up and fester, crawl and writhe, in a way that twists. I hear giggling, delighted and mocking. They creep up and the sensation, fingers ghosting briefly on my arm caused me to freeze and hiss. Great! The ghosts are back.
Don't!
I half expect her to be there.
Whoa, no need to scream bloody murder.
Well, I thought the ghosts were back for sure. Hi, Luke.
It's just me. Quiet down before you break glass.
But it's just whiskey.
Don't do that again. Ever.
I don't like being scared, though I don't believe in the likes of spooks. You don't believe in the likes of spooks, eh? Being startled is not on top of the list of things that Marianne liked. Lucky for him, I have nothing within reach, or he would have gotten on friendly terms with something like a rolling pin.
What was with that reaction? Were you really scared? Has Johannes been telling you ghost stories? He just loves to scare people.
Now that I believe.
Isn't that right, Brother Gurium?
The butler's expression is unreadable. I hardly see any emotion on his face to begin with since I started working for the Wrights, aside from the vague amusement. There must have been something there, though, judging from Mr. Wright's own content look. The expression of Mr. Wright's face is almost cruel. But neither of them spoke, even as Johans leaves the room to serve the workers their late lunch.
So, now that we're alone, Marianne, what are you so jumpy for?
I was just thinking about all the urban legends the movers have been telling me about this place.
Don't tell me you believe in that tosh. They're nothing but tales made up to scare children. Timmy, Billy, don't you dare go up to that big mansion and get in trouble there. The ghosts are going to get you.
You know, when you say it like that, it does sound rather silly.
That's a boring way to look at it, but that's usually what it is anyway, no? Like I said, I was just thinking.
It would be a relief, actually, if those rumors of this place being haunted are true. That just means I'm not going bonkers. I think both are true. I think you are going bonkers, and this place is haunted. Whether the two are related, however, I don't know. Hearing, let alone seeing, a dead person isn't exactly symptoms of a healthy mind. Oh, and I just realized that we're standing close to the damn haunted mirror. Because they put it in the wine cellar. Hearing, let alone seeing, a dead person isn't exactly symptoms of a healthy mind. Sure, it means that there would be such things as ghouls and goblins, but at least I'd be sane. On the other hand, there would actually be a dead girl walking around.
If you could excuse the inane question, Mr. Wright, you haven't noticed anything weird here?
I'm actually surprised no one's asked him yet. A simple enough question on the surface, yet I notice a man stiffen as the question leaves my mouth. I wouldn't have noticed it if it wasn't watching his reaction so intently, but his eyes see something
It
dangerous.
depends on your definition of the word weird. Are we still on the topic of this place being haunted? Because no, things have not started to fly around and we have yet to require an exorcism. I don't think my head would like to do the whole 180-degree turn thing.
Miss Wright has the house blessed, I think, today. Or tomorrow.
Well, maybe that, but no strange people?
Aside from my usually weird butler and all the weird men traipsing around touching my things? No, not really. Why do you ask? Have you noticed anyone strange while you were here? Because you must report it to Johans and he'll have security handle it. But these reports better not be about ghosts and things that go bump in the night. I don't want to waste manpower on the boogeyman or senseless witch hunts.
I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Wright. But no, it's nothing like that. I guess the mansion is just strange for me. It's a unique project.
No strange men or women lurking about then?
A dead teenager would technically qualify as strange. But yeah, the whole I see dead people thing is not going to go over well.
None that I know of. But I'll inform Johans immediately if something comes up.
Are you ever going to bring up the fact that you may have found a secret room in the wine cellar, though? That might be worth mentioning.
I'm serious, Mint. You see anything, anyone suspicious, and you report it. Immediately.
Okay, he's hiding something.
I think that goes without saying.
The concern we have on talk of security is quickly gone. His arrogant, smug smirk returns, and a bit subdued. Whatever smarmy remark or innuendo he has at the ready never comes, though, as the voices from the dining hall ring out.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Ah, Zach's here.
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least not all the time.
That would be the magazine photographer, I presume. As always, Mr. Wright talks in such a kind and cheery fashion no matter who he's talking with. It certainly puts the people at ease around her. It sounds like it's working on the photographer, too. Hearing them, though, seems to put Mr. Wright in a sour mood. At least if a small scowl is anything to go by. That doesn't look like a scowl to me. That looks like... what's the term? Apathy? Let's try to lighten the mood.
You're not gonna go out there and join Mrs. Wright?
Oof, nah. Okay.
Hey, are you alright there, Whiskey? You're looking like you need a serious drink.
We're the ones that are promoting his fucking bad alcohol problem. Yeah! Consistency. And we capped that out. That's probably a bad thing.
What is it that you want to do then?
Films. Documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
I'm fine. Just a bit winded from all that moving about. It's been a long day.
And the day's not over yet. So if you can excuse the bloodness, you either shape up to help or ship out back to your room and let us do the rest of the work.
Are we trying to make him mad? Because the relationship meter went up. He hesitates, eyes locked firmly at the door that led him to the dining hall. Even now, we can still hear Mrs. Wright and the photographer chit-chat in between shots.
Not my place to say this, but she really does seem to care a lot about you, you know?
There's no need to remind me of that.
A strange smile appears on his face before he shuts his eyes and sighs.
Tell the workers that you're all dismissed early.
That's nice and all, Whiskey. But we really shouldn't just take off. Delays aren't a good thing when it comes to big projects like these. The sooner we tackle certain issues, the better.
And I trust you can take care of these issues another day. Don't make me ask again, Mint.
Interesting.
Just tell the others they can go home early, and to not worry, they'll still get paid the remaining hours.
I don't know what prompted this. With the air he's putting on, though, I know better than to meddle with and prod further. When are we going to bring up the fact that there's probably a secret torture dungeon in the back of the cellar? Besides...
Fine, you're the boss.
Walking out of the kitchen, I just accept the fact that whatever he says will go a while under his roof. Mrs. Wright and the photographer are still far too busy in conversation to notice me, even as I make my way through the dining hall. Besides, I didn't want to ruin their fun.
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Going to the foyer has me stumble upon the family butler once more, who raises a brow at my presence.
And where are you off to in a hurry, Miss McCulloch? The foreman is looking for you.
The Bratwurst wants us off the clock. He's dismissing us early because of... Oh, I don't know. He just wants us out of here.
I'll go and call a cab for you then. It would be for the best that you leave when he asks you to.
I don't doubt it. Hey, we filled in a page. To keep her mind off things that haunted her, Marion McCulloch focused on assisting the Wrights during their move-in. Later that afternoon, she was seen chatting with Luke Wright, who demanded that she and the rest of the crew take an early leave. My ride at the back to the city doesn't take too long to get here. Granted, there were some difficulties at first because the driver didn't know where the Ermengarde mansion is. Tried to have us hand over GPS coordinates from our smartphones or some other technobabble I didn't care about, and the butler didn't understand. You lost me. But as soon as we told him that it's the haunted mansion over in Anson Village, he knew just the place. Man, no technology seems to work here, and that disturbs me, and it always disturbs me. You could call it a dead zone. Finally headed over, albeit with some hesitation. All the way back to the city, the driver keeps complaining about the place giving him the willies. Gives me the willies too. I would have loved to snap at him. But as soon as the thought occurs to me, another blossoms in the forefront of my mind. One that somehow bothered me greatly, more than my exasperation over whiskey and the project, or wanting it all to stop it. There has been no Lorraine whispering in my ears today. Worse, I find myself searching for it. Oh, so you are crazy. Searching for her. Damnue Uthi. Loose ends. Fucking bloody loose ends everywhere. Thought I've already moved past this years ago. and it does nothing to help me curb my frustration. If anything, it only ensures that I want a stiff drink. Where else do I go to drink? The pub. Tuesdays are for karaoke, and Wednesdays, improv. Usually it's these four guys who did hilarious games. One with the Irish drinking songs are always a crowd favorite. Though I love a good laugh and stand-up comedy isn't my thing, and without Cam or Haruna or any other distractions, I end up drinking a lot more this time. When there's several bottles of beer in me, I get really, really embarrassing.
Hey! G! Psst! G, come over here.
Oh boy. We now resume to Dan's hate of alcohol. And how we are no longer going to connect with the characters in any way, probably until this scene blows over.
I need you for something.
It's a good thing that the bartender is a nice fellow. I'd probably have been kicked out of other places by now, or worse. If push comes to shove, all he would do is give me an easy smile and shake off his head. Even when he's attending other customers. Just like now.
Give me a moment, will ya? I gotta go check on her.
Hey, that's the same voice actor as the... Oh, wait! Didn't Officer Lee say that he has a second job as a bartender? Or am I making that up? Oh, this is all more connected than I realized. He's some Asian guy. I'm pretty sure I've seen him here a couple of times, though he never talks to anyone except G. Oh no, Ashton's here too? Oh my goodness. We might actually enjoy this scene. The girls used to be all over him too, but he always turned them away.
I'll be here. You go do that before she falls over.
All right, all right. What is it?
Yep, that's definitely Lee. I think.
Do you need someone to help you get home?
Bartender, pour the wine.
Oh boy.
I think that's enough alcohol for you, little missy. I'm cutting you off.
A whine comes from the back of my throat as he pulls my bottle away. I have no hope of getting them back once it's left behind the counter. Even in my drunken mind, I don't dare hop over it for them. Because what little sense I have left knows I'd sooner take a floor dive than succeed in wresting the bottle from a sober man. That doesn't stop me from trying to reach out with my arms like a stupid idiot anyway. He smiles and shakes his head, just like I know he would, before going back to the other guy.
Right now, where were we? How you holding up, boy?
With no drink and no one to really chat with, I would have gone home, or gone to sleep, on the bar right then and there, but I'm not ready to stand up, or trek back home just yet.
Same old. I'm still on the Luxborn firm case.
Those blokes they talk about being in dark suits, whisking people into the night or some shit and all that. Didn't the media call it some ridiculous name in the morning news?
What is it this time? Wait, don't answer that. They've called it a lot of things. As long as people don't start running around claiming they're the Illuminati. So, what have you got for me this time, G? Anything good?
Slow down there. You haven't even told me what sort of dealing dosh we got. Who are you looking into this time?
The Wrights. Their talk would have interested me, would have kept my attention if I gave a damn, but in my current state I can barely give two fucks about the things going on around me. Oh no! The drunk is gonna ruin this amazing scene for us. All these words are just buzzing, barely surfacing the sea of sounds around the pub, and would have stayed away, perhaps even drowned, if I didn't hear his name.
Luke Wright. You know the guy. And don't pretend like you don't, G. It takes a special kind of ignorant not to know who he is.
That smug blonde who likes throwing round his money. He was just here a few days ago, as a matter of fact.
Yep. Oh no. He's gonna get pointed in my direction, isn't he?
Great tipper, if you think him just dumping a wad of cash on the counter after having too much whiskey counts as tipping.
I think it does?
Why are you asking? He dirty?
You have no idea, G. He's probably the worst sort you can imagine.
Doesn't surprise me. Luke fucking Wright. Fucking whiskey. Even without him around, I'm still hearing about the guy. What an absolute fuck. Sorry, what the absolute fuck? Despite this, I find myself getting up and sauntering over to join them before I pipe up.
Is this smart talk about Luke fucking Wright I'm hearing, eh?
Private conversation here, lady.
There's only amusement on G's face. The Asian guy, he starts to look ticked off as hell.
Don't worry, Holmes, she's clean. And she might be able to help you with your, predicament.
Course. A drunk's just stumbled through here with what I need.
Yep.
Get real, G.
His name's Holmes.
No offense, lady, but you're smashed.
I know, right? Nothing beats being drunk after a hard day's work. Especially when you're working for Mr. Luke Wright.
So, she works for the guy? Doesn't that make her, I don't know, suspect?
See, have a little faith in me, why don't ya? I don't have much, and you might as well have something to go off. You're the one who was so desperate to come running to me for business.
Yoo-hoo! Still right here, fellas. 5'11", can't miss me. Unlike Shorty over here.
I keep forgetting how tall she is.
What's with that mad look? You want to dance, boy? You don't look like you can bust a groove.
She is completely smashed.
Maybe a leg, but with that fancy coat of yours.
To add insult to injury, I moved directly behind him and used the top of his head as an armrest. We don't know how tall Ashton is. No! My profiles! When he shakes me off, I plop into the seat right next to him.
Don't try me. You can hardly stay on your feet. We don't want to ruin your fancy coat, do we?
Ah, children, the both of you. But you're still standing after all that, are you? Matt, you see this giantess? She's a legendary regular here. Been treated like there's no tomorrow. I'm a bit jealous. Can't do that anymore or my liver will give out on me.
Interesting.
Good with the mic, too.
Good with the mic, too.
Don't see you much recently, but I guess you're always busy, aren't you? You're some fancy designer or something, if I remember correctly.
Wait, I know you. You were at the open house for the mansion.
Yeah, that's right. Marianne McCulloch. I'm a famous interior designer extraordinaire. Ooh, that rhymes.
Did it? Did it rhyme? I'm not even gonna bother to check.
Anyway, you guys were talking about that weenie Luke Wright, right?
Or something. Can't really talk about it. I don't even know if I can trust you, even if G said you're clean. But anything would be of help.
Well, I don't gossip about my clients, if that's all there is to this.
You wanted to gossip about him a few minutes ago, Marianne.
And that was the beer talking, not Marianne.
You won't mind if we ask the beer a few questions then?
Go right on ahead.
Maybe. Depends on who's asking and what they're asking. But seriously, that guy is abso-fucking-lutely frustrating.
Oh boy.
One moment, he's an absolute dickhead. And then he's acting like an actual decent human being the next. I just can't figure him out. I can't imagine how that pretty wife of his can put up with him. If I were her, I'd dump his flat arse straight up.
And I'm not just saying that because I think Hannah's pretty or anything. Luke is a catch too. They both are. But I really cannot, for the love of all things holy, see how they even work out together. I can, but that's because we got to see Hannah's perspective.
So, Luke Wright, have you noticed anything strange about him while you were working with him? Anything peculiar? Of note?
He wants a helipad.
You're the one being peachy right about now, Holmes. But nah, nothing that comes to mind off the top of my head.
Oh, she's calling
He's just
him
like
Holmes.
most rich,
How did I...
smarmy arseholes and then some.
Yep. A giggle bubbles up and I press my cheek against the cool countertop with my eyes shut tight just because, eventually cracking one eye open, just in case they thought I fell asleep, I grin at Holmes.
So, Holmes, I'm guessing you're some private detective or something.
Or something.
Is it Hannah? Did she pay you to look if he's been cheating or some such?
Hannah's the wife, right? What about her? How is she?
How is she or how is she? Well and good. Definitely the nicer of the two and sexiest sin to boot. Not a private detective, then? Are you from one of them tabloids wanting to know if the Luke Wright doesn't know how to put his pants on right? Pants. I'd take the pants off of...
Here we go. Slipping. I haven't been this drunk in such a long time. It's a miracle I've been coherent for as long as I have been right now.
I'm asking you if you've noticed any odd behavior from her.
Odd behave... You what?
She's pregnant, but I don't think Marianne's caught on to that yet.
I wonder how she'd be drunk. I can just imagine her like the giggly sort. What do you think?
These are serious questions, Marianne. Lives might just be at stake here.
Uh-oh.
What do you expect? She's smashed.
Why am I even doing this? This is getting me nowhere, G. She's not a reliable source. The chief, let alone the courts, aren't going to take the word of a drunk. This'll be dismissed, and I might be in trouble if they try to argue that I coerced a testimony out of her. This is a fucking train wreck.
You're a fucking train wreck now, if you ask me. Maybe it's about time you apply the brakes and stop for a bit.
Wave of despair that comes from both of them is palpable. If feelings had a taste, it'd be bitterer than a beer I'm full of. I thought you were drinking wine. And it gets me thinking, though thinking does get me far with so much shite in my system.
You know that's not an option. Thanks for being patient, McCullough. Good luck with your work on that mansion.
Speaking of that mansion, there's something going on in that place. Something... As och day! No wonder Mr. Wright likes it so much. It's as fishy as he is. Rotten bloke. Maybe that Santos girl is really onto something, eh? Suspicious shite, I'm telling ya. Explains why she's so reluctant.
What do you mean that Santos girl is onto something?
Before I get another word out, there's hands on my shoulders and everything starts to spin. I quickly slap his hands away the best I can and send him the foulest look I can muster.
Take your hands off me, pipsqueak. I'm not a lady who's shaken or stirred unless you want me upchucking on your pretty hair.
Gross.
But it's just like I said. Are you sure you aren't brain damaged or deaf?
No, he's just sober, I think. Probably.
Santos girl from BRC showed us this creepy letter. You know, just like those spam stuff you get in your emails. And we thought it was some joke or that the girl was just a bit too green to handle a big sale like that. You should have seen the look on their faces when they saw it. Whiskey, that's Luke fucking right, you get me? And the missus didn't look too happy either. I should have taken a picture and posted it everywhere. When rich snobs give you that face, no wonder the Santos girl went all mental on us. Working with them does that, you know? I think I'm about to. I'm not mental yet, am I? Anyway, just like I said, in that man... Hey, you okay? Holmes? You're looking a bit shaky yourself there.
And he really is pale. Paler than before, at least. I can see the gears turning on in his head on overtime. Oop. Suddenly he shows a card in my hand. Lexburn Police Department, Ashton Frey, Detective Inspector CID. Desk number, fax number, email. On his name, Ashton Frey, and his number. But he has second thoughts as he grabs it from me and slips it into my pocket.
You're cute, pretty boy. But I prefer blondies.
Well, you're not exactly my type either, lady. But listen to me. If something comes up, don't do anything rash. If you think you're in danger or if you see anything suspicious, call me and the authorities as soon as possible. You understand me? That's 99...
I know what the damn emergency number is.
It's 999.
Right, 999. Good. Anyway, I have to run. See you, G.
Why did we have 911 here? I feel like 999 would have been much easier to commit to memory. Or maybe even like 111. The guy is quick on his feet and already up and at him as soon as the numbers leave his lips. Watching him as he maneuvers through the crowd of other pub goers is enough to tire me out. as fast as he can, and at the door he throws us a smile. That's all we get before he's gone, just like that.
Oi, what about your drink, boy? I'll go put it on your tab then.
Holmes boy always like that, G?
Pretty much. But what about you? I suppose I'll put your drinks on your tab too. Don't want you to spill your wallets when you look like you're close to spilling yourself.
That's nice. He's a nice guy. Oh, this is still before the absinthe, huh? The interior designer again drank her frustrations away at the crawl bar. Albeit heavily intoxicated, she was seen chatting with Ashton Frey, detective inspector working for the LPD, about Luke Wright before abruptly leaving. The detective left her his calling card.
Yeah, and if it's fine by you, I think I'll go take a bit of a cat nap here. Just for a sec or two.
Go right ahead. I'll wake you when I close up shop.
Real nice guy. Mumbling a sleepy thanks, I doze off on the spot and pressed on the counter. Already I dread the pain I'll have for sleeping in such a position. But when you gotta go, you gotta go. Great! The Siamese nightmare is back.
Oh, Marianne! How long have you been standing there, dearie?
Creepy, 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 creepy.
Come join us, Marianne. We won't bite.
Drunken nightmares.
Unless you ask, that is.
Not that I can get much sleep to begin with. Oh, we just skipped 2 days. So that was the photo shoot. Okay, he spent the day with... So we did meet the photographer again. So we're at the housewarming party. Spooky. Yeah, we're back to spooky. Happy Halloween and everything. This will probably be on my archive a little bit later, though. Okay, we're finally going to fill out some pages on the 28th, though. This is where we have the conversation about the relationship between the two. Do people ever have the feeling that they're working on something you really enjoy but still eventually tires them out? Because honestly, I've been feeling like this.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Though moments like these make all the hard work worth it. Definitely.
Well, I can't take all the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned.
The nursery.
I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
We're only about halfway done, but the honest satisfaction on the client's face is enough for me to push through. Let's face it, in between my exasperation and Mr. Wright's antics and her, I have been burning the candle at both ends. Yeah, you're going crazy, lady. I can't even close my eyes without seeing the dead girl's face. Dead. She's dead. I have to keep reminding myself of that, burying my feelings as deep as they've been buried, her body 6 feet under. No, I say bury deeper. Let's bury all our bodies 10 feet deep. Matter of fact, 12. Let's just double it. Or let's triple it. 666. Let's bury all bodies 18 feet under. Shouldn't waste so much time on someone who's supposed to be gone. I've wasted so many years thinking about her already. There should be no need to bother myself with the dead, when I should be bothering myself with the living. Too bad the living are usually as complicated, if not more so, than the ghosts of the past.
But don't you have a party?
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting, he's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Even more complicated when living in questions a pair of rich and famous socialites way past their honeymoon phase. And I've been somehow roped into being a relationship counselor.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband. But it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark.
Ah, this conversation.
What do you think?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle. But, if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives.
I'm just trying to think about how awkward this entire game would be if we did sleep with Mr. Wright. Still, I talk and answer to the best of my abilities. Without realizing it, I'm already pouring out part of me that I thought were long gone. I'd like to believe my words will be of some help to Mrs. Wright. If I'm honest, though, they are of some help to me. Like some weight has been taken off my shoulders. Getting some indigestion. I universally almost always get sick on Halloween. Usually like the day before or leading up to. Lorraine.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party. Oh, you really must, Marianne.
The weight of what happened to her left me. Did I? Okay, so we are going to leave the party. We're not going to attend. Darn. The weight of what happened to her hasn't left me yet, did it? Maybe.
I'll try to stay in chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
Maybe it's about time I changed that.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
Heh. Though I shouldn't dwell on the dead, I should just callously forget about them too. I should not. Saying I have work left to do is easy enough excuse to make. I know how other people see me. They see someone obsessed with her craft, and they would easily miss things like a party for it. Outside the parlor, people hurry about here and there in preparation of the Wrights' grand housewarming party. None spare me a glance as I slip past them, each working on their appointed roles and not daring to slack off while they work for what is probably the most powerful couple in Luxburn. I make it into the kitchen with ease, the wine cellar being my final destination. No, we're going to see that extra room. But when is a great task ever simple? Possibly never. And this is a great task, isn't it? My greatest one, that is worthy of being called a quest. That's right, there's a creepy mirror down there. I'm not acting as Marianne McCulloch, the professional interior designer, when I chose to lie about being too busy for a party. I am Marianne McCulloch, lawful neutral cleric, 9 points in wisdom and 8 in charisma. Just thinking of it like that makes it a bit cheesy. Yeah, because your stats suck. But it helps me with fear. It helps me overcome the insane thought that I am actively seeking out something that has been plaguing me for years. I might face my worst nightmare, or I might see nothing and find my self-imagined grand quest fall flat. And who would have thought that the gatekeeper to my final quest would be someone I thought to be a valuable ally?
Schnell! Hurry up, you snails! We are on a deadline and you are wasting my time!
The butler comes from the cellar into the kitchen, tailed by a couple of others. people who I assume are the most likely chefs and bartenders. He raises a brow and sees me just standing there by the hatch, by the trap door. It almost looks like he's going to throw me out for being in the kitchen without permission. But then he motions for the others to disperse and familiarize themselves with their surroundings. Meanwhile, he continues to stand there, preventing entry to the darkest beyond.
What are you doing here, Fraulein? This is not the place for guests or in an architect right now. I request you leave.
I was just looking around for any last-minute things, yes?
Mention the false wall, mention the false wall.
Yes, you have been doing that a lot. Looking around, snooping about. Now is not the time for such things. If you're not careful, people might think you are up to something.
The look he gives me also says... the look he gives me as he says this is almost chilling. If life was a game book, he'd probably... if life was a game book, which it is, he'd probably be a true neutral warlock guarding the treasure room. A difficult opponent to beat with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in dexterity.
Well, I'm not done yet. I actually need to go into the wine cellar. Just need a quick go at the place. So just don't mind me. I'll be out of your hair soon enough.
Go outside, enjoy the party. Bask in the praise and adulation they will no doubt shower you with when the madam speaks highly of you. Surely you've had enough of this stuffy old kitchen by now. You do not want to cause trouble. Both the bratwurst and Hannah want this to be perfect. It would be a disservice and disrespect to toe out of line and risk it being anything otherwise.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that.
And more importantly, I will be blamed for any failure that happens tonight.
That I can understand. His intervention almost turns me away. Maybe this is a sign that I'm not meant to seek Lorraine out, but...
Please, I just lost something the last time I was down there. It's really important.
15 minutes. 9, 10 minutes. Any longer and I'll pull you out of there myself. The bratwurst will be furious if he thinks anyone is touching his precious wine without his permission.
Thank you. This seriously means a lot.
He steps aside begrudgingly. That's a fun word, begrudgingly. At this point, it looks like there's no turning back. Oh no! The haunted mirror there now! Yay! The cellar greets me ominously as I descend. The space feels smaller with a lot more bottles lining the walls compared to before, and knowing that I might be waiting for me there makes things worse. I almost hope in a morbid and twisted sense that Lorraine would just be standing there waiting for her. She's going to shatter that mirror by accident. It would be just like her to joke about inappropriate meeting in the dark, secluded areas. But just like the broken bottles and wine that was spilled onto the ground before, no trace of her can be found. Wait, have we ran into Marianne after this point? Oh no. We might die here. This was the last time we saw her. Oh no. We dead. But just like the broken bottles of wine before, no trace of her can be found.
Lorraine! Where are you, Lorraine? I miss you, you know?
Only silence replies. Funny, when you want to find something, that's the time when you can't. The thought that I wouldn't be able to see Lorraine one last time fills me with such despair. Sure, it was cozy to come here willingly in the first place, but all I'm really looking for is closure. And if I can't see her, the least I can do is offer her a prayer. On the verge of tears, I kneel in the middle of the dark, damp wine cellar and put my hands together in a prayer.
May God grant her eternal rest and...
That's when her laughter fills the air. Fuck, we are so dead. It rings along the walls until it echoes in my head. I'm gonna go get some water, and when we get back, we're gonna tackle this and hopefully be done with it. Alright, we back. I hope everyone had time to empty their bladders before they piss themselves. Got my emotional support animal on my bed behind me. Got candy for when my blood sugar gets low. We are ready. We are ready for anything. In fact, we're so ready that it's time for another paranoid save. Paranoid saving, the staple. And like a siren song, it draws me in before it comes to stop upon reaching a dead end.
Ooh, could it be an adventure then? A secret passage? There must be a hidden switch somewhere. Go look! This is the most interesting thing you've done by far.
A secret entrance, although the idea of it is already itself inane, it only makes this entire endeavor even more perilous. But I need to find a way to open it. Already I'm running my hands against the wall in order to find some sort of hidden switch. It didn't give when I tried to push it open before, and I doubt that it would have changed anytime soon. But if there's a door, there's always a way to open it, hopefully without the need to break it down.
Shame I can't roll for perception checks in real life.
It is a real shame. It's such a silly thing to say aloud, though there's no amusement on my face, and I do check glancing the mirror from the study.
Though a sanity check would be more fitting right now, wouldn't it?
Yep. How long have I been down here, searching for a switch or a hidden door? In order to go find a dead girl, no less. Ooh. We're gonna find the corpse of that lady in that secret room, aren't we? It's only unreasonable, it's insane. At this point, they'll find me clawing at the walls, giving my nails to try and see if there are any grooves or catches I might have missed. I'm surprised I haven't gone past the 10 minutes that were given to me, and I'm not being hauled out of here. I don't want to bank on the chance that I'll have more time. Although I know I really shouldn't let these kind of things bother me too much right now. If I don't continue looking, there's no point in me going down here. Dirt and rocks stick underneath my fingernails as I search it out, but there. A section of the wall that is about the size of my palm and just, well, hidden as a hollow in the wall is a switch or button, or rather...
Face it, Tigress. You've just hit the jackpot.
The excitement I feel at the discovery makes me pressing it without a second thought. But when a click echoes in the cellar, a hidden door creaks open and I stop. No time like the present, eh? I have to hurry, and I turn around, and when there's a crash. In my haste, I bumped into the mirror, making it fall to the ground and shatter into 100 pieces. And shit, I hope that isn't an original piece, but I don't think my insurance will be able to cover it. I could probably find an imitation to replace it, and... the door slams shut behind me. I nearly have a heart attack because of it. Desperate to deal with her painful past, Marianne McCulloch excused herself from attending the housewarming party to search for Amy Lorraine within the mansion. In the process, she stumbled upon the underground prison hidden in the deepest centers. Nice! This is Higurashi no Nakakarani now! Was this house also owned by Yakuza in the past? The door slams shut behind me, and I nearly have a heart attack because of it. But when I see a much more visible lever on this side, I calm down and shake my head. On the other side is a passageway in an underground tunnel that has me mystified for a mere moment until I realize what it holds. Cells closed off by heavy iron bars on the line of the sides. A general sense of death and decay lingers. Heavy, though the years should have taken away most of it, if not all the stench. Of this foul smell of humans and corpses, alike being left to rot. The breeze most likely coming from the other end of the passage. That goes through this is thanks to that. Yeesh. If the place had been enclosed like a mausoleum, I imagine the odor would be fouler than this
Dear
by
Lord
now.
and Saint Adelaide, bless these poor souls.
Not gonna sugarcoat it. Though the architecture of their time was magnificent, human rights wasn't exactly a big thing back then. Corpses! Yay! And if the Ermengarde mansion had a place like this hidden away, who knows what sort of heinous acts were done down here. There's no time to dwell on it further, though. Not when... A ghastly thing, a corpse of a woman, leans on the wall. Her arms and limbs, almost every inch of her body, is peppered with wounds and rotting flesh. And it is then the putrid smell of blood and gore hits me, making it so that I don't even question how I missed it in the first place.
How long has this been here? Oh, that smell. Oh, you're a nasty one, aren't you?
I flinch as the thing twitches. And as soon as it opens its eyes, then looks at me with a smile, there's nothing on my mind but horror. That's what's on my mind. Horror! Run! Run for your life! I break into a run. I try to keep running, no matter how much my legs and feet scream into me at the stop. What a bad day to wear heels! If I keep going, even when I look back, I see nothing of her anymore, because I can still hear her. The scampering of her feet, the words which she tries to form with her bloodied mouth, and the painful sounds of bones grinding against each other. As she moves closer and closer to me.
How long are these damn tunnels?
You're not running towards the exit, you're running further in? There's a split second where I know that the thing is right behind me, a strange sensation creeping over my limbs when the presence looms over me. And then suddenly, I can't do anything before I'm yanked by the hair and pulled back. Still, I struggle up until I'm thrown to the side like some rag doll. I hit the ground on my side, and the musty smell of old hay that reaches me is only an indication that I'm still alive.
Please don't hurt me!
My body hurts, and I keep my eyes shut tight, afraid of what might happen next.
What's wrong, Marianne? Are you really afraid of little old me?
Oh no, we're gonna get to see the two-headed nonsense again. There's a flash of hope. She can help me, save me from that thing. But as I see her smile, the same one as that thing had, I know that it isn't Lorraine. I'm a fool to think of so in the first place. It never could have been her to begin with. The real Lorraine is dead. Goodbye, my first love. She looms over me, backs me further in the cell that I was thrown in.
What are you?
Lorraine turns and shifts. That's a camera. Lorraine turns and shifts into that thing from before. With that same gruesome grin, she takes a step towards the cell, towards me. I barely scramble to my knees when the door to the cell slams shut, and it just stands there staring. Shouts for help ring out in the tunnels, but none of them are coming for me. I'm more paralyzed and shocked by what is happening. My throat tightens at being fooled by the image of Lorraine, at the thought of being trapped down here. So then where?
Help me! Help me! Oh, help me! Are you getting all this on camera, Carl? Yeah, but are you guys sure this is a good idea? We're breaking and entering here. Don't worry, the owners of this place haven't been here in a long time. Look at this thing, though. It has writing in blood like some cheesy 80s horror prop. Wait, I have an idea. Oh man, that's genius!
What kind of butthead would even take this thing seriously? Maybe we can stick this in Rowan's backpack. That's good.
Guys?
Prank gone wrong.
What? Spit it out! Behind you!
There in the corner of the cell, a digital camera comes flickering to life as a video has played back on the screen. It was hard to even consider paying attention to it when my life was on the line. But when the ghost doesn't move and the teenagers' mocking shouts of "help me" filled the cell, I just had to watch. And what I had seen, students judging by their Sankaretti uniforms. They were holding... And that thing, the woman, she... Well, we're getting insight. While trying to escape the phantom disguised as her friend, Marianne discovered an underground prison hidden in the deepest corners of the mansion. Now trapped in one of the cells, she found a recording left behind by some of the mansion's victims. Why is this out of order? We can fix this. We can go back. We can fix this. Fuck this noise, I'm out. It seems so cliche, like a death trap in an old horror movie. Might very well be a dead end down here, hopefully not literally. Though I have no reason to fear for my life, it's hard to think that I will be in any way safe if I continue in there. The thought makes a chill run down my spine. Yet nothing is as paralyzing as what I hear next. It's a distinct and alien... Oh, my phone's going off. And it's enough to make me look nervous at what I might see in there. Behind me, I only see...
Lorraine, you're here. I thought I would never see you again.
I can't even question how in God's name is this possible. Seeing her there fills me with such a strange feeling of relief. I had told myself I was ready to move on. Yet here I am, ready and willing to just embrace her. Back again with open arms. Her beautiful blonde hair, her soft lips with skin so fair and swaying hips. She laughs at and the smile she sends my way as she walks over and makes my chest feel tight. But her eyes are most beautiful of all.
I'm so sorry. I must look like a right mess. It's been so long.
I'm here, Em. I'm here now, don't you worry. Come here.
Nope. 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 She reaches out and slips her fingers through mine before pulling me away from the tunnel and towards the mirror. Our reflection, a grown woman and a teenager barely past her prime, lends a bizarre light towards this whole scene.
I can't imagine how you've been so alone all these years. I left you, Lorraine. I didn't mean to, but that's what I did.
Oh my god! It all makes sense now. Officer Lee, he was blathering drunk that there was someone calling for help in the basement of the wine cellar. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I was so dumb. Oh, it makes sense. Marianne was trapped in the basement. Or in the mirror, which is probably what's going to happen now.
I don't even know if you can ever forgive me.
Don't cry. Doesn't suit your pretty face. Besides, I don't have to be alone anymore, do I? You're here for me, aren't you? You'll never leave me again, will you?
My mouth goes dry as she looks at me. That isn't the plan. This isn't closure. Yet her hand in mine makes me believe that this is real. She's real. And that all that matters, nothing else.
Of course. I wouldn't dare leave you.
You swear you won't leave me?
I feel like this might actually be the bad ending.
I swear to God, I won't, Lorraine.
Though her smile remains, I can only describe her expression as sad. She walks around until she stands just behind me and wraps her arms around my waist. I nearly crumble with how I'm in her arms once more. When she puts her chin into the crook of my neck and I feel her breath on my neck. I am filled with both joy and grief. The scent of chocolate, almonds, honey, and beer surrounded me. My first taste of love. The love that I denied. It had been
God's
so
not the only
bittersweet.
one you're making promises to, Marianne. Swear it to me. Or, even better, prove it to me.
I'm not sure if I like this any better than what we just saw.
I'll stay forever with you, Lorraine. I swear it to you. How do I even prove it to you?
Simple.
She presses something in my hand. A large glass shard from a wine bottle. Oh, you're gonna make her kill herself.
Join me.
Is she suggesting that I knew?
Lorraine! That's... How can I?
How can I even do such a
There's
thing?
no need to be scared. I'll be here for you until the end, Marianne. Even if you hadn't done the same for me. But that's the only way I can forgive you. The only way we can be together again.
Oh! That's fucking dark! Together at last. She guides my hand, raising the glass shard. My own hands are weak, as is my will, and only my bare neck to do with it as she wishes. There is no reason, no self-preservation, as I mindlessly welcome my own death, as if it will lead to my salvation. I feel nothing at first, other than the glass touching my skin, like a caress, until the stinging sensation blooms from my neck. The pain sears from a burn, like nothing I've felt ever before. Oof, I can't look at that. And now I can't read. Ah, there we go. That's better. The pain sears, and the burns like nothing I felt before. Every breath intensifies the feeling. Even if I wanted to cry out and scream, I can only cough, and slick metallic taste coats my tongue. The most I can do beyond that is rasp out, calling for her name.
Lorraine.
Eee. Cold and weak, I grow worse by the second. I cough with each ragged breath, expelling the blood I'm inhaling through my slit.
Shush now. It'll be over soon. Really soon.
Yeesh. There is a moment of doubt as I remember that the devil was once the most beautiful angel in heaven. That I shouldn't be deceived by such beauty. But in my final moments, that is all soon forgotten. My mouth twitches. I can muster the smallest of smiles anymore. But I'll be with Lorraine. You've unlocked a memory fragment. So it looks like every time we die, we get a memory fragment. So, who would have thought getting trapped in the prison was the good ending? Desperate to deal with the painful past, Marianne McCulloch excused herself from attending the housewarming party to search for Amy Lorraine within the mansion. Seeing her again, however, she made the decision to join her dead friend instead. Yikes. So we're gonna go back to our original route. And we're gonna finish up with reading a new profile. Let's get some lighter news. That was dark, and let's never go back to that place again. Except that we left her in a cell in the basement. No one knows she's down. Oh wait, Johan knows she's down there. She might get rescued. So there's a chance. She's fucked, but there is a chance. Also, 3 kids are murdered, so the death count has gone up. Oh, her birthday's April 1st. Okay, Rebecca Gales. April 1st, Aries, 29 years old. 5'5". History teacher, Scottish. Atheist, raised Kirk. Master's degree in education, major in European history. Likes stories, reading in the library, going to the gym, cycling, jogging, lacrosse, and lesson plans. Although of Scottish descent, She grew up in Luxburn and even went to school in St. Goretti. Oh, she probably knows those kids that disappeared. Oh shit. No wonder she doesn't want people going near that mansion. Her parents were professors of European history and Southeast Asian history at Luxburn University. They were often busy and forced Rebecca to be independent early on. Surrounded by books and instilled with a love for learning, she was a star pupil and often called the teacher's pet for it. Her passion for academics, leaning towards a career in the industry, was to be expected of her. She came out of her shell in her high school years and started becoming the Spitfire she is now. Before then, Ashton was her only friend, though she found him aggravating at first. Independent and used to taking care of others, it was no surprise when she helped out the young foreigner who lives next door. You know, we've only been going for an hour and a half. It's Halloween. I got nothing planned for a little bit. We can go a little longer. This is how it begins, or so they say. The gentle wind drifting through the wide open windows, muffled laughters and footsteps fading behind empty hallways, and the light kiss of the afternoon sun. Soon there will be a call, a crossing of thresholds into the unknown. Maybe we're off to some grand adventure, or diving into another gripping mystery. One can't really tell. For all I know, a hero might even come sweep me off my feet, if I'm lucky.
That's not exactly a bad thing when you think about it.
But this is far from one, isn't it? Riveting tale, that is. October 21st, Friday, St. Goretti. This is where the game started. Mild breeze, the faint murmurs of warm rays, painting every nook and cranny a fiery hue. They are all as real as they can get. As much as I want to write a little tale of this, I am far from someone who can. Fleeting fancies, that's what these are. Merely passing thoughts to occupy an idle mind, waiting for another busy workday to end. Then again, maybe in another life. I am one, who knows? But at present, what I have and what I've chosen to be, well...
I won't last years here if I find teaching rowdy adolescents a tedious job, will I?
I mean, I look forward to that career path someday. Admittedly, the whole affair isn't exactly grand or exciting, as I imagined as a child. If I weren't so stubborn and too passionate about the whole idea, I probably would have quit a long time ago. But it's always kids that make it worthwhile, isn't it? As if in agreement, as soon as my pen slides into a neat circle against the papers I'm grading, the final bell rings. Like a dam that has opened, students begin piling out into the hallway soon after. For a short minute, I let this noise fill my ears, let my mind wander, and place far removed from the hubbub. Hubbub. Far removed from the hubbub. Solitary moments like this have come few and far between lately. Even my own home hasn't been quiet as usually I prefer. Though in hindsight, the entire place hasn't been the same either since Isabella moved in next door. And if her fussing over a minor cold last week tells me anything, I might as well throw out any idea of solitude in the nearest balcony, so as long as she lives nearby. At the memory, my eyes automatically shift over to the bottle sitting at the edge of my desk. Chuckle escapes from me as I reach for
A
it.
little ball of energy and enthusiasm. That big baby.
Mother Hen, she calls me, and then says and does the same thing right after. It's not that I'm unused to being on the receiving end of other people's worries, or feel any sort of apprehension over fretting. If I am to be completely honest, it's actually amusing how someone can be childlike one minute, then act like the responsible adult the next. But there's a dissonance there, both in her actions and her words. Although she may not look like it, and may not say anything, may not lose her cheer, one way or another, Joan Jett. I know these troubles have weighed down on her lately. Her face says it all. That big numpty? I'm assuming it's like slang for numbskull. She thinks I won't notice. She's got another thing coming. These are intentional now. These song lyrics, it can't be a coincidence. That's how she has always been. I do understand that part loud. I do understand that part. Loud and clear. It's just that I'd really rather not pass another burden on to her.
Or become one myself.
Aren't I supposed to be the one taking care of them? Though I guess that's simply one of those things people eventually grow away from, once you've all started leading different lives. Not completely different, I hope. Somehow that thought makes me feel uneasy. Thankfully, before stranger ideas can take root in my head, a faint buzzing comes from my bag, cutting through the rest of my thoughts. A small frown forms on my lips when the screen lights up and it's an unknown number that flashes. For a long second, my thumb hovers over the answer button. Even the voice that responds once I do accept the call is wholly unfamiliar.
Hello?
Goodness. Finally, it connects.
This is, Rose, right?
Hello? Is this Miss Gales? Rebecca Gales?
Yes, speaking. Who is this?
Oh, this is where, Isabella gets sick and passes out, right?
Oh, sorry. Rose Cooper, Briar Realty Corporation.
Briar Realty?
My frown deepens as I straighten from my chair. Something in her tone, despite sounding remarkably friendly and light, doesn't quite sit well with me. The rigid pause that follows doesn't help ease the tension that has suddenly descended either.
Miss Cooper?
Yes. Things are a bit busy on my end. I apologize. I'm not certain if Isabel has mentioned anything before, but we're working together on a property at the moment, and...
The Armengard Mansion, yes. She said something about that earlier. Is there a problem?
I'm not feeling good.
This is about Isabella, actually.
She wastes no time relaying everything. The details she provided are admittedly a bit vague, but enough for me to get the gist of what happened. It isn't the bad sort I'm expecting, though I am still worried. Especially with words, panic attack, and pale looking a bit sickly woven together in one foreboding sentence. This is how you weave them into a sentence right here. You just say it. But as quickly as it surfaces, I stomp down the urge to demand answers right there and then. Now isn't the proper time for useless questions. I'll find out soon enough regardless. To Miss Cooper's credit, she neither hesitates nor falters all throughout. There's some comfort in knowing Isabella has someone like her to guide her, though not as much as I would have liked. After all, this is Isabella we're talking about. What are the chances that she just had a bunch of excuses so she wouldn't get sent home? High. Very high. Oh, she is going to hear it this time.
You were listed as one of her emergency contacts, so I thought it'd be best you know about this.
I miss you, Rose. I'm sad that you got horribly murdered.
How is she? Is she doing okay?
I had her take a break for now, but honestly, I'd feel better if someone were to pick her up and take her home for some rest. Anthem's a fair distance from Luxborn. I really don't want her going off on her own. I'd do it myself, but oh, you know how it is today. Big day. People everywhere until the open house ends. I'm really sorry to ask this of you, Miss Gales. I know you're busy.
Oh, no, it's all good. I was just about to leave from work. I
I hope to leave early today anyway. A few minutes ahead wouldn't hurt. I can be there in a few, 30, 40 minutes tops. Is that all right?
More than fine, Miss Gales, thank you. We're supposed to be here until...
I just realized. We may have screwed her over when we... on the 29th when we didn't open this. Cry of a woman in the wine cellar. Well, we fucked her.
Oh, excuse me. One moment, please. Yes, ma'am.
Faint hum of conversation echoes from her end. It sounds as though the place is buzzing with more people than you'll expect from a regular open house. I was skeptical at first. The house is old, not to mention inconvenient location in Lexburn's outskirts. Who wants to live in a place almost an hour's drive away from the comforts of the city? But from what little I can hear, it appears Isabella has every right to be optimistic about this sale. If I didn't understand why she was so adamant refusing my offer for help before, I think... Oops. I think I do now, to some degree.
We'll be resuming the tour soon. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that. I really need to get this thing going. Lord knows how I'll salvage the situation here. It shouldn't be anything complicated, but still, clients. They can be difficult when they want to be. Anyway, just look for me when you get here, alright? I shouldn't be too hard to miss.
No problem. Thanks for letting me know about this. Just make sure Isabella stays put, please. Heaven knows how stubborn that girl can be.
Oh, believe me, I know. Don't worry about it. I'll have a few of our staff keep an eye on her for me until you get here.
That's all I'm asking. I appreciate it.
The whole thing ends on a surprisingly pleasant note. Wait. I just realized something. We can go back. We can go back.
Hey, are you alright there,
We can fix this. We can fix this. Damn it. We can't fix this.
Hey, are you alright there?
Because I thought we had an opportunity to talk to Johans.
Schnell, we are on a dead...
Let's see. Raises brow.
What are you doing here? I request...
I was just...
Yes, you have been... Now is not the time.
Well, I'm not, so just don't mind.
Go outside. Surely you've both the brat, and more importantly,
Please. I just lost something the last time
I
I
could have
was
sworn
down
we had
there.
a choice here.
It's really important.
15 minutes. The bratwurst will be.
Thank you.
At this point, there's no turning back. Annoying. Oh well. We can't fix this. I give up. Sorry, Marianne. Oof. Da 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 da. So, I am definitely going to be lording over this footage later to see if there was anything I could have done differently. But it looks like prison is the best option.
Or become. Hello? Yes, yes. Oh, right. Miss, I'm not. The Amiga is there. This. You will miss. Howie. I had her anthem. Oh no, I hope to leave. I can be there in a few. 30, 40 minutes tops. Is that all right? More than fine, Miss Gales. Thank you. We're supposed to be here until. Oh, excuse me. Yes,
Okay. Who wants to live in a place that's almost an hour's drive away from the comforts of a city? But from what little I can hear, it appears Isabella has every right to be optimistic about this sale. If I didn't understand why she was so adamant in refusing my offer of help before, I think I do now, to some degree.
We'll be resuming the tour soon. Yes, sorry about that. I really need to get this thing going. Lord knows how I'll salvage the situation here. It shouldn't be anything complicated, but still, clients. They can be difficult when they want to be. Anyway, just look for me when you get here, alright? I shouldn't be too hard to miss. No problem. Thanks for letting me know about this. Just make sure Isabella stays put, please. Heaven knows how stubborn that girl can be. Oh, believe me, I know. Don't worry about it. I'll have a few of our staff keep an eye on her for me until you get here. That's all I'm asking. I appreciate it.
The whole thing ends on a surprisingly pleasant note. If only the same can be said for the news she brought. I allow a brief minute to pass to ease whatever tension has latched itself firmly into my nerves. Yeah, if only I could do that. But no matter how much I wish for it, my mind stubbornly refuses to do so. My hands are unsteady against the papers I pretend to arrange after. Lucid thoughts, every single ounce of it grimmer than the other, grows with each passing second I linger. Something about this whole thing, along with the sudden unease and nagging worry, screams off. Wrong. This isn't the riveting tale I hoped to step into today. Even on a rush, getting everything in order before leaving takes nearly a good quarter hour. By the time I make it out to the classroom, the commotion has already died down, dwindling to mere echoes and distant laughters. From the nearby room, melodies of rehearsing band drifts freely into the air, filling the almost empty hallway with their warm, lively tunes. Any other day, I'll stop, bask in the music, and enjoy a little peace it brings. Not today, however. My steps are brisk, and sure as I march for Edward Hall's exit, the sooner I confirm Isabella is okay, the sooner I can shake off this niggling feeling. For one reason or another, that single call, of all possible things, has thrown everything off kilter. I'd rather this be over with as quickly as possible. So much that I nearly barrel over a student in my haste. Though perhaps that it is really the other way around. Oh no, it's the creepy child. Anyone else, please. When I look down A set of eyes, bright and hopeful, stare back at me. Her arms are wrapped around my waist like a vice, and at my attention a grin spreads over her face.
Buenas tardes, Miss Pink.
Miss Pink.
Hello, Kylie. You know, you aren't supposed to run into people like that.
Sorry, Miss Pink.
She loosens her hold on me, but not a hint of guilt or regret appears on her. If anything, it seems the remark has only amused her. A smile appears on her face before I can help it, matching the one on her own.
Just remember not to do it again, all right? You could get hurt.
Yeah, or somebody's gonna knee you in the face.
You sound like my mama when she's scolding Rowan, Miss Pink.
I'm sure your mama only means well. I know she'll be worried sick if one of you were to get hurt.
Yeah.
Where's your brother anyway? Aren't you two supposed to be heading home now?
Who is this sassy lost child indeed?
Rowan said he's got some stuff he needs to do before we go. I think he's taking too long. But he promised to buy me jelly babies today if I keep what he's doing a secret from Mama and Papa.
Oh no, I just remembered. The video camera. Oh, your brother's dead. I thought that might have been like in the past. Literally. Oh, I didn't make the connection. Oh, everything's going so bad.
Any chance you'll tell Miss Pink about it?
She shakes her head. Both her hands are going to her mouth as if to keep a precious secret from spilling out.
I made a promise. He said it's for Tia Luke.
Oh, something like a gift?
Like a deal. Tio promised to take him somewhere cool when he's old enough. Rowan's gonna prove he's a grown-up.
Oh, I completely forgot. Uncle Luke. Kylie. Oh, I'm dumb. This is Luke's niece. Oh, I feel bad. The teacher in me wants to give whoever this Tio is a reprimand for bringing about this kind of behavior in his children. Oh yeah, he definitely deserves a reprimand. There's a lot of dead kids now. Oh my god. It's all connected. Curse you, Patrick Warburton. It's all coming together. If both Suarez kids are so fond of him, there shouldn't be anything to worry about, yeah? At any rate, they're nothing but well-behaved, both Kylie and her brother. Rowan, the eldest, may have the occasional odd streak in him, in and out of class, but their parents taught them well. I see no reason to cast any suspicion of bad behavior on them.
As long as it isn't anything dangerous, all right?
It's not. Cross my heart.
They're dead. These kids are dead.
My drawings are a lot prettier than what he's doing anyway. Tio said so. Do you want to see? I drew one earlier at class.
Please tell me it's not a haunting image of scarring memories.
Is that why you're here?
Not really. I was gonna show it to my friend first. But since it's you, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if you see it before she does.
Oh no. I can't stay right now, Kylie.
Her face falls immediately after the words are out. A small part of me feels responsible for this crestfallen look, but as much as I want to stay a little longer, there's another place I need to be right now. Frankly, another child to look after. Taking both her hands, I kneel in front of her and muster the most rueful smile I can give. At her age, I'm quite sure she already understands what I'm about to say before they're even out. But remarkably, she doesn't look away or pout like I'm expecting her to.
I'm sorry. You know what? Rowan has a class with me on Monday around this time. Why don't you drop by again next week? After class? I'll even make sure to wait for you. It's just that absolutely must leave now. My friend had an accident earlier, and I'm the only one she has here.
What about her mama and papa?
Her family lives really far from here, I'm afraid. Do you remember where Asia is? The southeast part? That's where they are.
Her eyes immediately light up at my question, just like that. I know I've earned the girl's forgiveness.
Oh, just like Takako.
Who?
Who?
My friend. She said she used to live there, only just a little higher than southeast. But she hasn't come home in a long time, so she doesn't remember much about it anymore. Melody says it's weird I talked to her, but I think she's just shy.
They
could be good friends too! Don't you think so, Miss Pink?
Who?
Maybe if you introduce them properly, they will be.
That's what I think.
I feel like I'm missing details here.
Takako's just lonely. If she makes more friends, she won't be anymore. Is your friend like that too?
A little, possibly. To be honest, sometimes I can't tell with her.
After all, Isabella has always been the kind to hold a smile, even when things have taken a turn for the worse. 5 years and one will think is enough to know a person. But when you consider it, come to think of it, all these years I've never once, not even once, seen her cry. Not over a trivial matter, or even when things are tough.
Okay, you can go to her. I'll just show you my drawing next time.
Thank you. Remind me to buy you a huge glass of parfait, all right?
No, I'll get a stomachache. Takako says so.
Who's Takako?
A small one is okay.
I'll remember that. Say hi to your friend for me.
I will. I'm sure she'd love to meet you too. See you, Miss Pink.
I'll see you later, Kylie.
Why do I get the feeling that Takako is the ghost? Although, how would this child have met the ghost at this point? I don't know.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down.
I hate kids singing. It's always creepy. She doesn't look back or wait for any sort of goodbye from me. Okay, he does look different from the bartender. Rebecca Gales received a phone call from Rose Cooper after class, asking her to pick up Isabella Santos from Ermengarde Mansion. On her way out of school, excited Kylie Suarez stops her favorite teacher from leaving. With a song and an extra spring in her step, she bounds across the corridor with as much spirit as any child her age can have. As if the conversation has never taken any downhill turn for her at all. As if there isn't a single thing to worry about in the world. Not long after, she disappears behind a door, leaving behind strains of old and familiar rhyme lingering in the air. Carefree, unbidden, untroubled. Moments like this, I envy her. And I resume my hurried pace. A tiny whisper at the back of my mind wishes the same can be said of myself and my own worries. Luxburn may be a small city, but it's no stranger to hellish rush hour traffic. But surprisingly, getting out of the city today proves more of a breeze than a hassle. A relief considering how none of my calls to Isabella have made it through. Either the reception's really bad over there, or she's ignoring them on purpose. Both does nothing to ease this disquiet in me. The rest of my drive passes without much incident. As soon as I'm out of the busy streets. In less than 30 minutes, the mansion looms ahead of me. For all of the fuss Isabella made about the house, it remains a thing of beauty. Unlike Luxburn, the estate and the nearby Ansem village stand as its complete opposite. living and breathing of the songs of old, whispers of once booming haven lingering in the air. Contemporary conveniences aside, it's a place that I'm glad modernization hasn't wholly touched.
It's just a shame the locals know more of the silly hearsay than the history itself. If I could only knock some sense into these people.
Sadly, complaining is all I can afford to do, as much as I want to give them a piece of my mind. It isn't why I'm here. I don't think these rich types will appreciate getting a lecture from me either, as I have much business with them. I have as much business with them as they have with me. Actually, let's see. When did we... The brother was seen alive here, but dead here. There's something going on. There's more to this than I realize. With a heavy sigh, I give myself one last second to take in the scenery before heading up to the main entrance. Most of the guests are already heading out. Oh yeah, she already left and went home, right? She went home with Ashton. Though some still linger, it's mainly just to take photos of the house's facade or various rooms. I pause for a moment, scanning the small crowd gathered in the foyer, looking for any sign of the familiar ponytail among the sea of hats and heads.
No sign of her.
No sign of the other staff, Miss Cooper, either. I can certainly look for Isabella on my own, but in a place this big, I'd be lucky if I didn't end up lost or find her before we need to meet with Zachary and Ash tonight. Sighing, I reach for my mobile and redial her number, for the gesture familiar now as so many attempts earlier. If she doesn't answer, I can still try contacting Miss Cooper. I just hope the network reception will cooperate this time. This side of the country has never been popular with the tech savvy, after all. To my relief, it only took 3 unsuccessful tries. At the 4th one, right as it's about to switch to another intercept message, the line finally rings. Silence follows as I wait for her to pick up, the ringing going far too long for my tastes. By now, most of the visitors have already cleared out. All I have for company are the faint murmurs and the eerie calmness in their wake. A sudden hush settles and gives way to noises louder than they're ever meant to be. Doors creaking and slamming shut in some distant part of the mansion, floorboards groaning under the sheer weight of the house's history. In the now empty hall, they are all reverberate with special clarity against the walls. Like this, those old stories seem to almost have a ring of truth. I don't get to stray far into that ugly line of thought, however. Not a second later, a click sounds from the other end.
Hello? Isabella? Miss Cooper called earlier and...
You haven't seen the letter yet. Why are you getting the creepy nonsense?
Isabella? Belle? Are you alright?
Without any warning, the call gets cut off. Busy notes blare sharply against the heavy silence. But above the noise cutting through the mute air remains the faintest cries of a woman. Well, we know that we can't physically die yet because we've seen stuff her in later parts. Faint cries of a woman from beyond the foyer. My hand falls to my side as I cast a wary look around, waiting for someone to come running. Surely I can't be the only one hearing this. There must be some staff hanging around, checking things out. No one does. Not even when her sobs turn more frantic in
Excuse
anguish.
me? Hello? Who's there? Isabella? Isabella? Is that you?
No answer. Growing anxious, I amble over to where the cries come from. Each step shows cautious towards the door on the other end of the room. While I am far from someone who readily gives in to fear and stories lacking factual basis, a vague restless feeling I have immediately returns to me. And despite myself, my heart begins to race, and my breathing quickens.
Belle, it's me. Miss Cooper called. Is everything okay?
Abruptly, it all stops. My whole body tenses, mouth dragging, in a ragged breath, my ears straining for any other sound yet to come from the other side. But nothing follows. Instead, the quiet only lends itself to the heavy tension in the air, as if every small movement will disturb the fragile stillness hanging in the room. I wait for another second. Then, with caution, I reach for the knob. My fingers barely graze the brass handle when a hand falls on my shoulder.
Excuse me, ma'am. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you.
No, it's a...
Still reeling, my gaze shifts back to the door, as if any second now the cries will start again, whoever's inside will burst out of the room. But I don't get to dwell on those. The woman's worried voice breaks through the haze in my mind again, oddly soothing in its thick of my unease. Even with the concerned look comes from a total stranger, finally being in the company of someone else is somehow comforting.
Ma'am? Are you okay?
Oh, no, I'm fine. This is probably just some cold.
Do you need to sit down?
No need. I'm actually looking for a friend.
I wave the mobile in front of her, like a gesture alone explains everything. Vaguely, I note my tight grip on it and quickly slip it into my pocket before she notices. She doesn't need to know.
Well, I'm not really sure if your friend would still be here. We're actually about to close the open house in a few minutes, ma'am.
No worries. She's not a guest here. She works for Briar Realty. Miss Cooper called me earlier. In fact, I'm also looking for her.
Recognition flashes in her eyes, and the worried expression dissolves into a smile at once. It's all I need to know that I don't have to look elsewhere to venture deeper into the mansion on my own. In some way, I'm not too keen on the latter right now.
Oh, Miss Rebecca Gales, is it?
Yes. Sorry if I'm a bit late.
It's not a problem. I was busy with the open house and a few clients anyway. It's actually a good thing you came when you did. Let's see. Isabella should be here somewhere. I told her to stay put earlier. That girl never listens.
Rose? Rosie? May I have a minute? There's just this one little thing before we go.
Miss Cooper's head immediately snaps up at the voice. In a blink, a different kind of smile spreads on her face. A smile still friendly even, but the kind given mainly for the sake of pleasing other people rather than making friends.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there in a few.
It's an impressive thing, to say at least. That level of professionalism. I suppose working years in this kind of business trains you enough to be able to pull that off without batting an eye. It certainly didn't seem to have rubbed off on Isabella, though.
Sorry, could you give me a second? I have to take care of this.
Don't worry about it. I understand. I can wait a few more minutes. Clients, right?
You won't hear anything from me. Priorities, you know? But if you want, you can stay at the parlor in the meantime. I think we have a few refreshments left.
No, thank you. I'm going out with a few friends after this.
That's right. We got a call from Isabella saying she was at the Ermengarde mansion.
Isabella's supposed to join us too. But that depends on how she's doing, of course.
Alright, this won't be long, I promise.
She throws me an apologetic look before sauntering over to a small group gathered at the entrance. A couple, or siblings, and another woman, probably their secretary. Oh, so you did see her earlier before we met in the library. Either way, they looked different from the other guests. All three of them primly dressed, albeit in a manner significantly simpler than the others. No frills, no extravagance of any form. But their gestures and movements alone speak volumes of their ingrained lifestyle. In their presence, I do what I can to appear inconspicuous on my side of the foyer. Maybe accepting Miss Cooper's offer would have been much better choice than standing around awkwardly and gaping at them. Luke has a weird aura around him again, all while also attempting my best not to listen in on their conversation. Although the one that proves more difficult with how enthusiastic the blonde woman is, her voice easily echoes through the walls, with only 5 of us here. Pretty soon I find myself being drawn to their talk without meaning to.
Tomorrow? First thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning, ma'am.
The mundane talk isn't what catches my attention,
Very
however.
well. We'll have our lawyers prepare everything as soon as possible. Let's make this whole thing easier for everyone, shall we? Just let me know if there's anything you need from me. You know how to contact me, yes?
Got your mobile number saved here already.
Good. It's just a matter of time then.
It's a brief moment, a fleeting shift of
Monday
my eye.
for us, Marianne.
As long as you're positive, we won't be having any problems by that time. You can count on my team.
You worry too much. Let me handle those things. Do be thrilled, though. I imagine it's not every day you get projects like this,
I can't stop looking at this cloud over here. And the instant I turn my gaze on him, I see it.
Oh, I'm certain Mint's ecstatic, Buttercup. Aren't you, Marianne? You know, we could all celebrate this with a few drinks. Why don't we? In fact, there's this really excellent Irish pub I visited a few days ago.
Oh my. You're the reason Ashton starts looking into Luke Wright, isn't it? Looming, hovering over his shoulders, drawn to him like moth to a flame. A dark blur. No, a shadow.
I think I'll pass on that, sir. I have more important matters to attend to.
What happened to the mic quality there?
Darling, your liver. You already had a glass today, and apparently a few days ago as well. How many times do we have to remind you? Doctor's orders, remember?
Such a shame. You never let me do anything fun.
But as I try to make sense of it, a heavy feeling descends over my whole body. It happens without warning, forcing me to close my eyes. The sensation creeps into every part of me, crawling under my skin and draining me little by little of any strength. Before I know it, my hands are gripping on the nearby door for support. The sudden nausea drowns out their voices, and what little sound there is, all except for the whispers and laughters. Wow! She's getting, haunted immediately, and she hasn't even seen the letter yet. Judging, mocking, taunting. Muffled, inaudible words bearing down on me like a death sentence. They wrap around my neck and limbs, binds tightening with every syllable, every utterance. And with each draw of breath I take, they drag me down slowly, almost painfully, into a bottomless abyss. On and on and on, till the sounds turn to a mere distant echoes, until suddenly it shatters.
What are we waiting for? Are we done here?
Hey, the shadow's gone. His voice rips through the fog like a sharp blade, and my eyes snap open. When I look at them again, it's gone.
Just a second, darling. Send my regards to Isabel, please. Poor girl. Please let her know she doesn't have to worry and tell her to get some rest. Anyway, we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Likewise, ma'am.
No shadow, no dark clouds. Only amicable smiles and cordial handshakes. The usual pleasantries as Miss Cooper leads them out of the mansion like a graceful host. None of the group seems to have noticed it, and even as I force my breathing to calm down, keep my eyes trained on their backs, and wait for something to happen, it doesn't come back. She returns a moment later. Gently she closes the great doors behind her, but there's a smile on her lips and an extra skip in her step when she walks back to me. Whatever she was discussing with the group had put her in a good mood. Even she appears to have not observed anything odd. Was I just seeing things? Yes. However, what you saw, I saw too.
Glad that was over. It's been a long day. I thought for sure we were going to... hey, are you sure you're doing okay? You look a bit green.
She's sick.
It's all good. I'm actually still recovering from a cold. Weather's been crazy lately.
That must be it. The weather, the stupid cold, and the friendly warnings I'm too stubborn to listen to. As much as I hate to admit it, Isabella's right. I was and still am feverish when she visited me at the school this morning. The medicine helped, of course, but only some. Although it's not like I can function, it did get better after lunch, and I was able to go through my schedule like usual. Now I'm not so sure. However, I can't keep acting like I've seen some sort of apparition when it's anything but. I simply must have listened to too many times Isabella last week. My fever-muddled mind has started to confuse things. This doesn't let up. I just need another visit to my doctor, plain and simple. Though I do hope it won't get worse. We did promise to watch Zachary's film together.
I know what you mean. I've been complaining to Isabel.
This is getting crazy.
It doesn't seem to affect her much, though. Must be because she grew up in the tropics. Anyway, shall we? She's probably hanging out with the rest of the catering staff.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised she's there. She eats like 10 hungry men when she isn't feeling well. Lead the way.
With a small nod, she gestures to me to follow. I do so without much thought, finally putting everything back in the back of my mind. Skipping ahead. The entire visit took a whole 24 minutes, and my trip to the mansion, as it turns out, is a useless endeavor in and of itself. Isabella is no longer there. She left shortly before I arrived, or at least that's what the few of the staff who saw her assumed. None of them knew where she went, but I can take a few guesses. There are only a number of places in Luxburn she frequents, and well, she's never been the complex kind. It doesn't really take a genius to figure it out. Still, it's odd she left on her own. She could have at least waited for Miss Cooper. It would have saved her having to pay the cab's fare twice today.
Right after she was told to stay put. I mean, who does that?
I kind of understand why she's mad now.
Oh, sod off! You don't own the road!
While waiting in the mansion, Rebecca overheard a brief conversation between the right couple, the interior designer, and the estate agent Rose Cooper. It was discovered afterwards that Isabella had already left a few hours ago. In the end, all Miss Cooper could give me were a string of apologies for my trouble and a request to let her know when I find Isabella. The whole affair didn't even last long. I probably spent more time traveling back and forth. Soon enough, I'm weaving my way back to downtown Luxburn, worried sick, and on top of that, maybe a little annoyed. Whether at the unexpected turn of events or Isabella herself, I'd rather not think about it for now. Not when I'm already running late for Zachary's film. Besides, I'm pretty sure that's where I'll find her. As one would expect, people are already gathered for the movie house when I get to it. The small avenue where it's located has been closed off early from any passing traffic to make the way to avid moviegoers, who are sure to crowd the venue. I have to park almost a street away and walk the remaining distance because of it. Looking for them has taken a while and a crowd is big, but I eventually spot them near the entrance. Thanks to Zachary, mostly. And like I've surmised, Isabella's with them.
I knew it.
Wasting no time, I march over to their little group. Words filled with concern tumble out of my mouth before I can stop myself.
Isabella! Oh, thank goodness. Becca, you're just in time.
An odd expression crosses her face as I hold it with both hands, but I ignore it in favor of getting a good look at her, forcing her to keep still and fix her gaze on me.
Becca, you're squishing my face. How are you? Are you all right? Why wouldn't I be?
There doesn't seem to be any visible injury, nor does she appear to be in pain. Apart from her confused frown at my questions, she looks pretty much like she would be any other day. Even so, you can't really tell those things with her at first glance. Last time she got sick, she never bothered to call anyone, even me, who lives right next door. If I hadn't checked on her then, she probably would have died on her bed with the rest of us and being none the wiser. It's one thing we laugh about now, but moments like those also teaches you something about a person. If anything, it has given me more reason to constantly worry about her. And the moment a familiar name comes up, I know my concerns right now aren't completely baseless.
Rose called me earlier.
Her expression swiftly changes, and gently as she can, Isabella pushes my hands away. Yet even before she says anything, I already have a hunch how this whole thing will play out.
Oh, no, everything's good. Rose covered for me at work today. That's not what I'm talking about. How's your head?
Then and there, the whole conversation goes down as we imagined. She dodges my hand when I reach for the back of her head, intending to check the said injury myself. Even makes a show of hiding behind Zachary just to avoid me. Instantly, what's supposed to be a simple inquiry dissolves into a shameless game of tag. Shouting and clashing like none of us can be bothered to act like the full-grown adults we're supposed to be. And then Zach's gonna fish stuff out of her pocket. Including Ashton. I won't put it past Isabella. Ash? Out of everyone? In fact, if that stupid smirk on his face tells me anything, he finds this whole mess amusing. Oh, for the love of...
Isabella, this isn't a laughing matter.
She did look pale when I saw her.
Wow, thanks a lot, Ashton, you traitor. I'll get you back for this. Just you wait.
No, you won't.
What? I'm just saying it as it is. If you mentioned this earlier, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
There's a moment's pause. My hand still's midair as my attention shifts to Ashton and the words he leaves hanging between the four of us. He doesn't meet my eye. I don't think he's even aware of what he said. But the meaning of each syllable alone is clear, and they echo, they sting, they burn.
I'm sorry, saw her?
Yeah, they arrived together. Bella looked fine to me then. I don't know.
Of course. Of course! Of course! Why else would Isabella leave on her own after being told to stay put? After that little chat about money this morning? Something close to silence falls when I mull over their words, both what's already said and what's been left unspoken. When I do find my voice, it only reeks with nothing but bitter, unpleasant thoughts. Thoughts I quickly stamp out before they surface. Thoughts I hide the best I can in the deepest parts of my mind, locking it away for no one to see. Wow, those are some deep thoughts.
Oh, that's good. At least she didn't have to travel alone, right? At least. Good.
Yeah, try as I might, the green-eyed monster easily rears its ugly head. Like it always does every time his gaze lingers a second longer. Every time he smiles in a manner far too gentle, far too sincere, whatever he thinks no one else can see. Every time my mind suggests his words mean more than they should. Every small little thing. You love him, I know. Despite what he says, despite his tone...
Look, you guys.
For all I know, it may just be the same kind of fondness born from friendship. Maybe I'm simply overthinking, he often tells me, or maybe there really is something there. Yeah, he likes her. But in his short display of impatience, I know the whole of it is just for show. After all, growing up together with him didn't teach me nothing about him. For whose sake is it this time, though? For him, for Zachary, for her, or for me? That I can't tell.
If she says she's okay, then there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like we can stop her either. Besides, she's still acting like the same old Isabella to me, if she can still run around like that.
Why are you taking her side?
I'm not. But if she wants to watch Zach's movie with us, I'm not going to stop her. She's probably the one looking forward to it the most.
Ash, that's... You, of all people, should know...
Tell you what, if I notice something amiss with her, I'll take her to the nearest hospital myself. Is that good enough for you?
My mouth opens, then snaps shut almost as quickly, forming a thin, hard line instead. I can't respond, not because there's nothing to say. On the contrary, there's plenty. So many things I can use to reason and get him to agree. But because he speaks in such certainty with much reassurance, it feels like there isn't even a choice. All I can give is a long, deep breath and a reluctant nod in the face of it. Before I can get a grip of myself and my own weakness, the mood immediately shifts and I'm being tackled into a hug.
Thanks, Becca. It's always been you with him, isn't it?
Did you say something?
Me? Nothing. Don't mind me.
A lie. Obviously. What else can it be? Each and every smile, a tiny effort to keep things as they are, or so I tell myself. I'm gonna play as Ashton next, huh? Little do I know this is merely a preamble. It starts out quietly, and without fanfare amidst the friendly jibes and harmless teasing, with a scrap of paper fluttering harmlessly to the ground. Oh, he didn't dig it through a thing. It fell out of her purse. One that looks suspiciously like a cheap Halloween prank, no matter how you look at it. And yet, despite how ludicrous it all is, Isabella stubbornly insists as if our whole life depends on acknowledging the truth of her story. Does she even realize how absurd she sounds now? Crivens, even my students wouldn't fall for this. Oh, little do you know, 3 of them are dead because of this.
Isabella, aren't you taking this a bit too far?
She doesn't give me the time to regret, nor think over my choice of words. From there it escalates, growing into an argument, too pretty even for our standards as adults. Before we know it, one after another, harsh, scathing words are being spoken.
It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me. If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Right. And in broad daylight, Isabella. Even someone gullible would find the logic in that screwed up.
In the creepy, dusty, murky attic, maybe though.
There's also no way in hell that this supernatural shit is true.
But it's real! What do you think I saw?
A hallucination? A delusion? Didn't you say you fell down some stairs? So maybe Rebecca's right.
It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
But someone has to be patient in all this. And however much my own has already been frayed earlier, there's no one else. Who else here can deal with someone selfishly acting like a kid? Like every other time, it has to be me.
We are, and you know that. But this thing and that thing has got nothing to do with the other. When Rose called earlier, I thought she's just exaggerating. But based on what I'm seeing right now, maybe it's better if we really postpone this for now.
Don't bother.
Just like that, she cuts us off. Slams the door right on our faces. My own temper flares before I can stop it. Although it falters briefly in hard expression on her, when she snatches the blasted paper from Ashton, I hold on to it. Regardless of how upset she appears, soured expression and balled fists throwing a tantrum is simply unacceptable. For a grown woman at that. Words from the tip of my tongue ready. But before I can open my mouth and let all of it out, her feelings and mistakes be damned. Zachary raises a voice of his
Guys!
own. A warning underneath the warm and hopeful beat in his voice. We all stop and look at him. Even my own anger subsides a little at his tone.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her. And hey, ain't this supposed to be a happy get-together?
To an outsider, it may sound like a desperate request, but Zachary has always been the one to keep a level head over petty squabbles. This time's no different. He knows what to say and when he lets it fall. The only ring sharp and true.
We haven't seen each other for months. I'd really love to know what y'all have been up to. I only ever get to talk to Bella over chat. Please.
And as careful as he is with his own tone, it does make me feel ashamed. We're supposed to be here for him, to give him what little support we can give, yet here he is trying to keep the three stubborn people from outright hashing it out in public. Later, we can and will talk about it, of course. There's a proper time and place for it. And at the moment, my anger and whatever reprimands it carries no longer matter. Beside me, Ashton appears to have already gone on. The lines of his shoulders eased to something more relaxed, his expression back to its usual nonchalance. Isabella, however, she stands perfectly still with her hands clasping at the straps of her bag like a lifeline, eyes trained at some point near her shoes. There's no anger in her face, only undeniable hurt. But she's never been good at hiding what she thinks. Always the open book, always the one to wear her heart upon her sleeve. And when she looks up, her answer is also simple.
If we keep arguing here, we're going to miss the first few minutes.
Her lips are curled up in a smile. Though lacking both usual brightness and glee, it's a smile nonetheless. I've seen it countless times, and it's the very same one we should show when she knows she has no other choice or simply when things are just going to get tough for her. But despite everything I already know about her, it still catches me off guard. In all honesty, I expected her to run. To balk at the first sign of losing this time. I won't even be surprised. At 26, she is the youngest among the rest of us. Less experienced, less accustomed to dealing with trivial quarrels like this. She's only younger than most of you. Actually, we don't know how old Ashton is. Let's take a look. 28. Oh, sorry. 26 years old. 31. 31. 30. 29. 3 years isn't that big a difference. I'm friends with plenty of people that are 3 years younger than me, or younger than that still. I tend to get along with people in their late teens to early 20s. At 26, she is the youngest. Yet here she is, holding herself and coping with it, like she would with matters concerning her family. Outside of that, to me, she has always been this childish, naive girl. Watching the opposite play out right now, somehow I find it difficult to wrap my hand around.
All right, that's the Isabella I know.
Oh, good. I thought for sure you were going to cry.
You deserve that one, Ashton. But I envy
What was
her.
that for?
Stop calling me a crybaby! I'm not one!
Aw, don't cry.
Stop it!
I envy her spirit, her warmth, her cheer, the shine in her eyes when she looks at the world. Everything seems to simply fall back into a pleasant, lively rhythm with her around. How easily and tightly she fits into our lives. Even without bonds, only long years could forge. Like a lost piece of a puzzle, despite her jagged edges. How she draws people to her with ease. How Ashton, of all people, can be drawn to her.
Okay, scaredy cat then.
That too! If you repeat that, I swear I'll...
Let's just go.
I make no effort, keeping the bitterness from my tone. I let it seep, linger stiffly in the air as I avert my gaze from them. From their playful banter, their friendly teasing remarks, and Ashton's tender, affectionate smiles. All before the stabbing aches in my heart change into something too painful to bear. It's all in my head, is what I often tell myself. No, he actually likes her. That's not in your head. Yet the way my heart rends at just the slight of them hurts. And like a coward, I walk away from all of it, taking with me a small hope the movie will distract me away from these thoughts. Because like this, it's easy to find something to hate in her. Dusk has already given way tonight when we leave the film fest. Unfortunately, it does nothing to improve my mood like I am hoping. Neither does the muggy air that greets us upon stepping back into the noisy streets. Too busy, too loud, too many people. It forces anyone to bump shoulders with those we barely know, let alone care about. On a normal evening, I probably wouldn't have minded the crowd, nor the humid weather. It's not like any of them are bothering anyone. Yet, even what's admittedly a pleasant company, I can't bring myself to lighten
See
up.
you guys some other time.
Oh yeah, she's seeing stuff in the windows.
Yeah, see ya.
Not even to return the smiles Ashton and Zachary gives us, we go our separate ways. Perhaps this started with Miss Cooper's call, or earlier than that. Maybe even the moment I left the bed this morning. Bloody hell, it could have been because of that sodding letter for all I know. I couldn't care less at this point. All I want is to get a warm bath, sleep, and wait for this dreadful day to end. Now, if only Isabella would stop babbling, then maybe this dull throbbing at the side of my head won't turn into a full-blown headache too.
Zach did a pretty good job with his movie, didn't he? Even though Ash said he ran into some trouble late into filming. But I knew he had it in him. It's not like I didn't believe he couldn't do it. I mean, did you see his face after the credits rolled? All those months he worked on this, and everything's finally...
You weren't even watching.
Only the first minutes. I watched the rest of it, I swear. Besides, Ashton was the one who wouldn't stop asking questions.
Well, why do we still need to talk about this then? I liked it. Ash liked it. You liked it. Shouldn't you be telling that to Zachary in person? I'm sure he'll appreciate it better than I ever will.
I know that, but maybe there's something you want to say? Zach had you check the scripts before he went through everything, didn't he? You also worked on it, even if it was only for a short time. So, maybe you want to...
I don't bother waiting for the rest. The moment I spot my car, I immediately make like a quick beeline for it. Knowing her, this is merely another attempt of starting a conversation. What is wrong with you? Don't be so mean, Rebecca. So we'll leave and have something to fill the dead air, to replace the strained atmosphere we somehow walked into. One thing. The very thing I'm not too keen to deal with at present. Behind me, Isabella also changes her pace to match mine, her soft strides growing brisk and uneven in order to catch up. A small part of me half expects she'll suddenly trip. She's not the clumsy sort. There are definitely times when she can be the least coordinated person on the planet.
Hey! Oh no. Wait for me!
And people wonder why I worry. They're not really completely unfounded, once you've already grown familiar with her habits. Though right now, this is also the very end of the list of things I want to think about. Sometimes it does become overbearing. Even her voice as she calls out sounds nothing more than background noise to my ears.
Rebecca, slow down, will you? Your car's not going to leave without us.
The sooner we get on the road, the earlier we can get home. It's Friday, in case you didn't notice.
I know what day it is, but the traffic's not going to magically disappear, even if we go there right now.
I don't want to hear that from you.
I don't remember this conversation in Isabella's playthrough.
Didn't you used to complain how horrendous the traffic is back home for you?
Yeah? But that doesn't have anything to do with this, Becca.
Okay. What do you want to do then? Wait it out? Walk? I just want to go home, Isabella. If you want to stay out here longer, I won't stop you. But leave me out of it. I'm not up for any other foolish excursions tonight.
I wasn't thinking about an excursion. I want to go home too. It's already late. It's just that you've been in this prickly mood since earlier. Are you really okay? Was it the cold? Or did something happen at school?
Yeah, me, the person controlling her decisions, came to a sudden realization that there's probably a lot of dead kids.
Do you want to talk about it?
And how we have been making so many mistakes in this playthrough. A long pause follows, and it holds everything she's been meaning to ask from the very start. I'm in no mood, but all the same, my hand stops short of unlocking my car, and my grip on the handle tightens. I can feel her eyes boring on me, waiting, hoping patiently for an answer I'd give. The same as Zachary. She's the same as Zachary. They're bad liars. I'm hearing a loud beeping. I think there's a smoke alarm going off. I might have to check that in a bit. But when you talk to people like them, if you're not careful, they often leave you with no other choice but to admit the truth. Those exact same ones I can't voice. Despite my lack of response, she pushes on surprisingly. This time, her tone is quieter, more tentative than usual. Tentative.
Was it because of the letter?
Roll credits. It's a well-meaning question, much like the rest of this talk. Yet something in how she says it irks me.
If it is, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to cause a scene. I did see something in the mansion, though. I wasn't lying about that.
Wherever she wants to take this, I no longer want to hear a word of it. Not at this minute, and preferably never. Especially when there are already a million other things buzzing and prodding inside my head.
And during the open house, even if there were a lot of people around, there were weird things happening. And during the open house, even if there were a lot of people around, there were weird things happening. I don't know if there was anyone else who noticed, but I heard things. I'm sure it wasn't because I fell down the stairs. Even before that, in the attic,
Isabella.
Yeah?
I felt like we didn't address the choice at all. A pause, though I don't let it last, only to give myself a small window to breathe before I lay down the words between us. As much restraint in my patience allows, which is not much after everything. I can only hope Isabella will simply take them as they are. She cannot be stubborn as a mule when she wants
This kind of conversation tonight. Look, it's been a long day. I think this cold also caught up with me, and I'm really exhausted. Can we talk about this some other time?
She blinks, although disappointment flashes momentarily on her face. She gives me a curt nod. A relief enough for me, perhaps for the first time I genuinely feel it today. As unpleasant as the day has been, seeing something go the way I've anticipated takes the edge out of it. Even if lying through my teeth had to go with it.
Oh, alright. You should have just said so. I told you should have taken a full week off. Were you able to get the meds I brought you, though? Do you need anything? I could drop by the pharmacy for you.
Yeah, no need to fuss. A good night's sleep is all I need. I've been busy the whole day. I guess I should have listened to you and taken it easy. But we have exams to prepare for. It's one or the other, you know?
You have to make a promise to Kylie now.
I knew it! Here I thought you were just upset about something. Even Ash looked a little bit worried about you.
It's fine. let's just head home, okay? I'll make it up to you next time. Call me out to lunch or wherever. Just not right now.
And that will happen with Zach later.
Okay, but should you be driving? If you want, I can call a taxi for us. You'll hate paying the extra fees, but you'll be able to get some rest on the way home.
No, don't call a cab. I can manage driving at least. Just get in the car so we can be on our way.
She spent a good chunk of today in cabs already. I'm already opening the door and climbing into the seat before she can protest. Left with no other choice, she follows me inside shortly, albeit with a bit of reluctance. The guilt from this will eat at me later, but for now, these little falsehoods are mine to bear and hide under. For now, this is the better choice. Better than pretending she doesn't exist, or giving her vague answers. Certainly better than harsh words and outright lashing out at her. I can find little comfort in that. Thankfully, if there's anything left to be spoken between us after, we won't have to discuss it on the way home. Or rather, we can't, because no sooner than we hit the road, Isabella dozes off. Despite my foul mood, I still end up suppressing a laughter once the first sounds of her breathing can fill the car.
Mama? Not your mom, Isabella.
Slow and steady, the quiet rhythm, so completely unlike her, so far removed from every impression anyone has of her. A few faint whimpers will occasionally come from her, but otherwise, it's just us, this silence, and it's so utterly unexpected. Still a welcome break, of course. Peace and quiet is one thing you'll rarely get with her around. Yet it's nowhere near comforting. It merely lends the air this strange clarity, every little sound, every single movement more palpable. And with it comes the unease. A jolt of surprise hits me. It's almost comical if this were a different situation. In my haste, I accidentally dislodge my mobile from the seat and the dashboard when I swipe on the screen. Soon I'm scrambling blindly for it, with my other hand keeping its steady eye on the road instead. Uh-oh. A voice crackles from the loudspeakers before I can put it back. Although muffled heavily by the surface, I recognize the person on the other line from the chipper tone alone.
Hello? Miss Cooper?
Oh, you're still awake. Evening. I hope I didn't disturb you or anything. I know it's a bit late. Sorry about that. I just want to check on you and Isabella. That girl's still not answering her mobile. Were you able to meet up with her?
Yes. She's with me. We're on our way home.
Hello? What was that again? I can't hear you properly.
Oh, that is so fucking disturbing.
Sorry. Let me just fix this dumb phone.
My hand stops dead for a moment. I spare the device a brief glance, waiting. Seconds pass. Nothing happens, though. Frankly, I'm not sure what I should be expecting, but the lines of my mouth forms into a frown regardless.
Miss Cooper?
Yes, still here.
Did you say something?
Just that I didn't get the last part. What were you saying again?
Oh, that is so irritating. Oh, it actually hurts to listen to it.
No, I thought you... Never mind. Must be the signal acting up. Come again?
What?
Is everything all right over there?
Certainly. Is something wrong? What wouldn't? Okay, you seem to be busy. If
this is so cringe.
I can just call you
back. I don't want to listen to this. Oh. I have to make a conscious effort not to panic right then and there, although my tight hold on the steering wheel tells me a different story altogether.
Rose? Hey, Rose! Are you still there?
Only a burst of static answers me, and maybe this lapse is entirely because of the exhaustion. It has been a long day, and I haven't fully recovered from last week's bout of flu, contrary to what I've been telling people. Though perhaps had I paid closer attention to it, had I not been so occupied with other thoughts, I probably would have noticed earlier that it never came from my phone, but from somewhere right behind me. Oh, fuck! Time slows to a crawl. Looking up is a mistake. First thing I see is its face, ghastly shade, every inch tattered, bruised, and bloodied. Even with the darkness, the world passing by in a blur of lights outside, I can still make out the wounds. Blood still oozes from it, little trails of crimson running down its face, glistening under what little light there is. This ain't my Uber. You know what would be really nice right now? To be a limo driver and have the ability to just roll the window up. But it is the gleam in her eyes that catches mine. What gleam? I just see dead pupils. Ugh, indigestion is a bitch. The quiet plea, the anguish, the desperation in them, more than its hideous features, the awful stench of gore now soaking the air. And try as I might, I can't bring myself to look away. You should probably keep your eyes on the road. Even as its lips contort into a horrific smile. Even as a sharp, harsh noise pierces the air and the silence around us.
Huh? Car! Eyes on the road!
Against everything I've been taught and constantly reminded to myself, I close my eyes. It's a brief moment, a short, vivid second of a vivid second of muscle memory and instinct completely taking over. If I didn't allow it, my hands didn't move, or my feet didn't hit the brakes. That exact second, I might have. Isabella and I might have. No. I shake the notion away before I lose myself in it. Right now, it's an ugly line of thought I refuse to venture into. Not when breathing is a struggle and every ounce of strength has been totally drained out of my body. Most definitely not while Isabella's panicked voice beside me still rings in my ears. We're alive. We're safe. That's all that matters. But it's not her face that I look for when I finally open my eyes. All gone. I expected stains, the little telling marks, and creases on the covers to show me where it sat not 1 second ago. But whatever it is, it left not a single trace. And though courage is a hard thing to gather at this point, I take what little of it remains in me and turn towards the back seat. Even then, there's none. Was there really something there in the first place? With how empty it is, I'm beginning to doubt it. It's the stupid flu again.
I need a long rest after this.
My hands fall uselessly to my sides, numb from how taut my grip on the wheel has gone, yet still trembling from an unexpected rush of adrenaline. Against my ears, my heart still pounds the erratic rhythm, and my breathing hasn't slowed down. But the world has already righted itself without waiting for me. And little by little, second after second, as I sit here motionless, color begins to seep back around me. Finally. Along with it are the sounds and voice. No longer indistinct ringing as it was earlier.
Becca, are you okay?
I feel like I'm going to throw up.
Answer me, will you? You're scaring me. You know what?
I think we should just call a taxi since...
Can you keep it down?
Strained, harsh, and completely unintentional. Both the heat prickling in the back of my eyes and the mild throbbing of my temple I could honestly do with a little silence for
Keep
now.
it down? We almost crashed, Becca!
Evil eyes.
I know what happened. It was a lapse. I'm sorry.
A lapse? You call that a lapse? Becca, I really don't want to end up a mangled mess on the side of the road, or a mangled mess anywhere. All I'm asking, if the time ever comes, which I hope isn't right now, is a peaceful death. Give that one to me at least. Not that I'm asking for it, but please.
Isabella. Belle, you're overreacting.
That was very weirdly written sentence.
If you're so worried, why don't you drive?
She offered to, but you said no.
Don't have a license.
Wait, what?
I keep telling you to get one, didn't I? For the past 5 years.
I don't have a license, and I've given up on trying to get it.
Do you see why now?
3 times of failing the test by 1 mark is just enough for me to give up.
I wasn't really expecting to stay here this long. I thought it'd just be for a year or 2.
All of a sudden, a pensive mood comes over her. Isabella looks away then. While what's left of my little lecture never crosses the tip of my tongue, don't allow it to. Because in each of those words she let loose what she let loose earlier was a small truth. Her stay has always been meant to be something fleeting. Earn some good money, go home. That's what she'd tell herself during the first year here. Now, half a decade later, I'm not sure if she still believes that. Even I'm not sure I still believe it. And if there's something in her reasons that has changed along the way, even if I already have a hunch, it's one thing I'll never bother to ask. Those are hers to
I'll
keep.
be careful this time, I promise. Just please, can we give this whole thing a rest for now?
She nods, and that is the end of it. We spend the rest of the trip back to Salem Well in silence. All thoughts of an overactive imagination playing tricks on the flu-addled mind and of smiles meant for my eyes, abandoned, if only for a brief moment. After watching Blue Fonse, Isabella tried making small talk with Rebecca, but the latter was too prickly of mood and was not interested. On the way home, Rebecca glimpsed something suspicious sitting in the back seat of her car. October 25th, Tuesday. We're going to end here. It begins innocently enough. And it's going to end that way too, because we gone. Peace out. Well, enjoy what remains of your Halloween if you can. For those who are watching this after the fact, I hope you had a good Halloween. Man, 2020 is just a weird mess. Anywho, I'll see you next time, but before we go, a lot of achievements. Wow, look at all these achievements. Meet a fellow nerd. Make peace with the past and move on. Interesting. There's a lot of these. Oh. Yeah, that's something that we don't want to look at. Art book. Of course, the art book is also in the Steam library. Oh, I can't click on this. Alright, chapter 5. Oh, there's a lot less CG in this one. This is going to be a short chapter. We're 25% of the way through it. The fucking mirror. Oh, we got all of them in this chapter. Only half, and we did not do a lot in of interacting in Zach's story. Yeesh. Interesting. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 memory fragments. And there's 7 chapters, which means that there's probably 1 in each chapter. And then maybe 1 in the epilogue. But yeah, that's enough exploration for now. Until next time. I don't know when I'll be playing this again. This is enough spook for now. Bye-bye.